Good afternoon and welcome to round 2 of the Newcastle City Council Summer Bash from number 1 Sports Ground. This afternoon it is the Merewether Lions taking on Cardiff Boolaroo Black Roses. In round number 1, Merewether got the job done against the Waratahs. A big win for them. It was actually a tight win, that one, and the Black Roses went down to Western Suburbs. But Josh Sim, their 2-star batsmen, Varun Sharma and Rahul Bakshi, are out of the side this afternoon. How big a loss are those two? And we'll go into why they're out in just a minute.
Mate, they are an incredible loss to this Cardiff side this afternoon. I mean, the two leading run scorers for them, Rahul Bakshi, I think he scored nearly 1,000 runs over his time at the club, so he's just such a vital cog in their side, as well as Varun Sharma, 2 centuries this year, better than a runner ball. He's been absolutely outstanding, but unfortunately both players will not be available for the side tonight, which gives them a huge hole to fill.
Definitely, and we can see the Lions already out there getting ready to bowl. It was Cardiff who won the toss, elected to bat, as you would expect on this wicket. The side batting first wins a majority of the time. We do know that. But against the Lions, do you think it will fall that way for Cardiff?
Well, look, as you say, it's a big advantage batting first, but the Lions, they'll back themselves. There has been, earlier this tournament, we saw Toronto beat Merewether after not having batted first. So it's you know, it is possible. So we wait and see. Looks like Richard Green is going to open the batting, take strike under the helmet.
And we'll just see who is opening the bowling for Merewether. It will
Sam
be
Holding.
Yeah, Sam Holding. He's bowled terrifically this year in the limited overs format.
Really tall young man. Did play for a while at Cardiff.
I was going to say, took 3 for 15 in their round 1 win over the Waratahs. Can he back it up again here this afternoon? And while we're just still waiting for play to get underway, we might head down to Chris in just a second, actually, because Sam Holding is ready with the new ball, the new pink ball. So Richard Green opening up for Cardiff. Sam Holding to bowl the first delivery of round 2 of the Newcastle City Council Summer Bash. They're just going to rotate the field here. Nick Watkins wanting a little bit of a change. And here is Sam Holding, the first delivery. And immediately Richard Green has smashed that one over cover, 1 bounce. And what a start for the Black Roses.
Beautiful shot there. Just took a bit of authority. He would have faced Sam Holding a number of times in the nets back when he was coming through the grades at Cardiff. So he has got some local knowledge, and he's taken full account of it early on here.
So may just have to pitch this one up a little further. Sam Holding was on a perfect length. That's a better delivery. And we'll head down to the boundary line. Chris McPherson, just tell us your thoughts on this one this afternoon and how important those 2 losses are for Cardiff.
G'day guys. Like you said, obviously Varun and Rahul being out of action is going to be a big loss for Cardiff. Straight away we can see that it's mixed up their batting order a little with Green coming out to bat. But look, they're going to bat first, and that's been the big swing favour in these last few games.
And Richard Green there backing away from that particular delivery. Couldn't quite get on the end of it. And a good response here from Sam Holding after Green smacked him over cover the first delivery. And we've stressed how important these opening 6 overs are. You get off to a good start and you can set sail for a big total. If not, the reverse occurs.
Ooh, it's going to be close. Very high delivery.
You'd think that would have to be close to a no ball.
He's gotten away with one there, Sammy Holding. But yeah, you're right. We have seen teams almost lose the game for themselves in the first innings of their batting by having a really poor opening 6 overs in the power play. So it's just so important tonight that for Cardiff's sake, for them to get their power play underway without losing too many wickets, very much help them in the cause. Nick Watkins, he's out there in the floppy hat.
Captain of Cardiff. Very important player for them as well.
A very experienced player too. Played a number of seasons down in Sydney. Come up here to take up a role with the CBs, and by all reports is doing wonders with the club.
Final ball. Pitch right up. Richard Crane couldn't do anything about that. A decent first over from Sam Holding. A really good response after 4 runs off the first delivery. None for 5 from the first 6 deliveries.
Yeah, that's right. A good opening over, I guess, for both sides in a way. No wickets, 5 runs, about middle of the road. It's this competition though. It's allowed the likes of Cardiff to be introduced to a player of the calibre of Nick Watkins, and he was a marquee player for them a couple of seasons coming up from Sydney, and now he's decided to join forces with them for a whole season. It's promising signs, and it builds great relationships. We talked with Aaron Gray from Toronto last week, and he was talking about how it's helped his club by making connections with Manly down in the Sydney competition. So it's really helping this format, and having the marquee players is really helping clubs to align themselves with some high quality talent further on down the line.
And I think some of that high quality talent see what Newcastle's like and think, well, maybe when my time's done in Sydney, if I can move up here for work, it's a great place to live, isn't it, Newcastle? We've seen it on the supercars as well, really going around Australia and the world.
That's exactly right. It's a beautiful spot to live. Plenty of nice beaches.
So Josh Geary to bowl the second over. And they're going to scamper through for a quick single. Is it going to be a leg by? It will be. So I did wrap him on the pads.
Josh Geary coming back from country duties a couple of weeks ago. Back in his days as a hard-hitting opening batsman from northern suburbs. I don't think he would have ever imagined becoming the all-rounder that he is now. Very capable medium pacer. Takes plenty of wickets. Richard Green just finding centre now. His first delivery from Geary.
And he's wrapped him on the pads as well, and they will get through for another leg by. Really good start this from Geary. They can't pick him up.
Must be just getting a bit of movement back in. Generally, if you see the pads get wrapped a couple of times, it's generally what's happening.
Definitely going down leg. And this is a different pitch than the pitch the sides were playing on last week. It's further to the west of number 1 Sports Ground. A very, very short boundary to the left of Nick Watkins. So if he can get onto a pull shot, it could go flying over the boundary for 6. The way Josh Geary's bowling, he's going to find that very difficult. And that's smart from the skipper, Simon Moore. Obviously, he knows he's not going to be bowling any slow bowlers from that northern end of number 1 Sports Ground.
Well, I was just going to say, spinners are going to have to come on from the opposite end, because to a right-hander, it's such a big hit out there. And that squeeze through gully. Watkins, I'll just get one. John O'Dunn doing the fielding, and third man. Just noticed out there at sort of extra cover region, Ben, one of our own from fellow journalist and ABC alumni, Josh Callanan.
Yeah, Josh Callanan, number 18 out there for the Lions. This one just nurdled towards him in the covers. And he was onto it like a panther, Josh Callanan. And they get through for the single. So really tightening up the run rate, Josh Geary here. But still 5 runs off it. And this is why it's so important. You might not be scoring in boundaries, but just to nudge a few singles around, keep the scoring rate ticking over during those slow overs.
It's so important in T20 cricket to keep changing the strike over, because you don't want a bowler getting into a groove with a batsman.
Watkins,
It's a beautiful
thumped
shot.
that one through the covers. It does run quickly when you hit it along the tarmac, and it'll be the 2 for the Cardiff skipper. 2 overs down, none for 12. Chris McPherson, how do you rate this start from the Black Roses?
Yeah, look, Richard Green came out obviously showing a little bit of intent, and they've set a pretty decent pace after a good response from the opening bowlers from Merewether. So I think it's very evenly poised. If these guys can settle into a bit of rhythm, they'll certainly make the job of a chasing very difficult for Merewether.
Do you know who's going to be coming in at first drop?
Yeah, that'll be there. Some good by Matt Rogers.
Is that Darth Vader? Where's Darth Vader? he's taken over Chris's microphone. I think he said Shannon Bills, if that's correct. So Josh Callanan's going to bowl the 3rd over here. Interesting change in the bowling. He's
Bowling is
he's not taken a wicket in the 2-day competition so far this year, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't played in the Tom Locker Cup. So yeah, no wickets for Callanan this year, and Green likes the look of that. Beautifully struck over the boundary for 6. He's hitting them nicely over cover, isn't he?
It's a beautiful shot again. Yeah, Callanan took a couple of forfers in a row in 2nd grade to elevate him into 1st grade. A couple of weeks, I think it was just before Christmas.
And Green takes him on again. Well, this could be a risky change in the bowling. It does plug, but it will get to the rope, or the white marking. So great start to this over for the CBs. The Black Roses, 10 off the first 2 deliveries. He's bowled the 11 overs in 1st grade this year, Josh Callanan. Best bowling figures of none for 31.
Looks like he's going to plug the gap there to the skipper, Simon Moore. Best man to do it to the tallest player on the field, Sam Holding.
So does Green go over mid-wicket? No, he just prods it. He's happy with the 10 runs off the first 2 balls.
Yeah, very experienced cricketer here, Richard Green. You'd be surprised if he was going to run past one after doing that.
And he comes down the wicket again. He's hit that pretty solidly to the fielder. And maybe if Callanan picked that up a little cleaner, he might have been in trouble.
Almost a commentator's curse then.
He almost did. So Nick Watkins now gets a look at Josh Callanan. He's happy to work that one behind point.
It's just been a great over here from the CBs. If they can close this one out, 12 off so far.
And we saw last week, if you can get over 130, that can be a winning total. Green has a total air swing, but a fantastic over for the Black Roses. 3 down, none for 24.
Yeah, they'd be wrapped with that at this stage. 8 and over, first 3 overs. If they could double that off their first 6, just going to make getting to that, as you say, 130 mark just all that much easier.
Chris, do you think we'll see Josh Callanan back on again this afternoon?
Don't want to talk to us.
No, he's just ignoring us. I think we have some issues with Chris's mic. We'll try and get those sorted. Here's Josh Geary. And Watkins picks out Callanan. He was onto it again quickly, and Richard Green had to find his ground pretty swiftly. If you take out Varun Sharma and Rahul Bakshi, who are out of the Black Roses side this afternoon, Richard Green is the 4th highest run scorer for them in the 2-day competition this season. It's a similar story in the Tom Locker Cup, as just rolls that one behind point for another single. Should say my spreadsheet's playing up. He hasn't actually played any Tom Locker Cup, Richard Green, so potentially a replacement for Bakshi and Sharma.
Yeah, very experienced player.
He started well, hasn't he?
He is. He's played a lot of first grade, and I think these sort of situations are nothing new to him, so he's going to come out and play with a fair bit of freedom.
And he made one not out in the opening round defeat to the Rosellas, batting at 7. So the depth in the batting order has taken a blow, but he's making up for it here with a super knock.
Been very, very good so far. He'll want to make sure that they get through to, as you say, that power play period without losing too many wickets.
And Nick Watkins, is who he's out there with, made 11 in the opening round. Geary. Another good delivery, just deceiving Green.
I wonder if Sign Moore goes to his most experienced head next with Tim O'Neill. It's been so good for them for so long.
21 wickets this season for Tim O'Neill across the Tom Locker Cup and the two-day competition. Green can only prod this one back to Geary.
I'd love to know how many wickets he has taken in Newcastle first grade in all time, because it would be a huge number. He's been playing for a long, long time. And just puts his left arm spinners on the spot and gets results.
It was a little expensive in their opening match. He did open the bowling against the Waratahs, 1 for 36 from his 4 overs. Again, another great delivery from Geary. Green, no idea about it, and that finishes the 4th over. He is bowling really, really nicely. He's got his rhythm spot on, and he was hit as well. He copped some tap from the Waratahs, 3 overs for 30 in the first round of the T20. Now Chris McPherson on the boundary. Do we have you back? It seems not. Someone has eaten his microphone. What has happened to Chris?
I can see him putting the microphone to his mouth, but
and
he's put his arms up in the air. He's in disbelief. Sorry, Chris.
We'll try. Now, this young man, Zach McGuigan, what a season he's had with the bat and the ball. Most runs for the Lions this season. He's also picked up 10 wickets in the 2 days.
A very handy prospect for them.
Took 1 for 21 off 4 against the Rosellas. And Watkins takes him on. It will land safe. And a couple of bounces and over the rope. That's how short the boundary is.
Yeah, that was incredible. An inside-out sort of cover drive that's landed through cover point. He's taking a couple of risks now, Watkins, after being fairly stoic early on. But as you say, Ben, it's just so short out of that side. Even last week, that would have been cut off.
So it looks as though Josh Callanan has been pushed back onto the rope, deep point. And Watkins, gee, that's smart batting, isn't it? Callanan pushed out to the boundary, just pushes it in front of point, and that was a little too much work for Sam Holding to prevent a quick single.
I wonder if he's going to push cover back now with Green on strike. Yeah, it looks like he will.
I think I should be back with you now, guys.
Oh, great news, Chris.
I've just done a bit of research in the meantime too, and it looks like Tim O'Neill's taken over 380 first grade wickets.
Incredible.
So how many seasons would he have been playing for?
That's going back to 06, 07 on my cricket. So
because my cricket only
about
came
13 years.
Yeah, well, he would have played a lot longer than that. I reckon he's probably. Yeah, well, I was thinking at least 500. So he would have to. You'd think. I can't say what year he started, but maybe one of the viewers, if Dave Redden's watching, will be able to advise us.
I was going to say Dave Redden would be all over that. But even those averages of about 30 a season's impressive for that era that he's been covered in my cricket. So add in those other years, and as you say, it's probably well north of 500.
I'll try and, here we go. In up Facebook. We've got Patrick watching from Yorkshire in the UK as Watkins gets through for another quick single.
Again, for our Bar TV viewers, let us know where you're watching from around the world. And if there is anything that you would like us to perhaps look into, please.
Well, Mark Johnson's actually posed a question I want to ask you after this delivery. Another well-delivered ball from Zach McGuigan. Right up in the block hole, Green couldn't get under it, and that's the end of the 5th over.
They'll be really happy with this start so far. No wickets lost, 5 overs gone.
So Mark Johnson has said, why don't they use a white ball so people watching this can see it?
Well,
so Mark's obviously having some troubles picking it up.
that's an interesting prospect. I think, well, the pink ball is wholly due to the fact that it's a pink ball. I don't think there's really any reasoning behind it, but yeah, I don't know. Black side screens, there you go. There you go. Black side screens, I'm reliably informed.
Yeah, Paul Marjoriebanks is filling us in up here, so thank you for your info, Paul. So no black side screens. We've only got white here at the number 1 sports ground, and that is why the pink ball is being used. So we're sorry about that, Mark. We'll try and describe it as best we can. Here's Green on strike.
Sam Holding.
That's gone high, and McGuigan on the juggle. Well, it was a bit of a circus act from Zach McGuigan, but he got the job done in the end, and Richard Green, an entertaining knock, is over.
That is a fantastic catch, and that shows why always put your hands up above your head. Take the catch in front of your eyes, because you can get a second grab at it. Great innings there from Richard Green.
I tell you what, I thought we put the commentator's curse on poor Zach. We were pumping him up about his bowling and his batting, and that one came down with snow on it, and he did well to clutch it in on the second attempt. Here it is.
Oh.
Whoop. Beautifully done. Richard Green on his way. A really good knock from him, and set the Black Roses on a good path here. We might hear from Richard in just a second, Chris. Did he say anything on his way through?
No, very quiet on his way off. He's head down, trudged into the sheds. When he comes out a little bit cooler, we might grab him for a chat.
He does love a yarn, old Greeny, so see when he cools off, I'm sure he'll be ready for a chat.
And Sam Holding continues his wicket-taking spree in the Summer Bash. That's his 4th for the tournament. Good slow ball there. And Callanan!
Oh, that was out for all money. New batsman is Matt Rogers, not the former Gold Coast Titans footballer, but the import from Sydney Cricket Club down in the New South Wales Premier Cricket. So, a couple of experienced heads at the crease at the moment, and just what they would want with the power play still in.
You made a neat 20 in the first game. And he's hit that one all right, but straight at Callanan in the covers. He's done a lot of work thus far. 20 off 23 deliveries in that loss to the Rosellas. They made 5 for 142, which is a decent score, but it was at Harker Oval, so obviously different conditions, different ground as well, different pitch, so
A little bit smaller.
here at number 1, if you scored 142 and lost, you'd probably be a little disappointed in the end.
You're very disappointed in your bowling performance, I dare say.
Yeah, so as we said, Sam Holding 3 for 15 in that round 1 match, and he's been beautiful so far. Just over 1 over, bowled, and he's really tightened the screws. With another wicket, there's another slow ball. Really rolling the wrists on that one, holding. They could only get through for the single. And just relieves the pressure. You'd understand the pressure when you're on naught. You just want to get off the mark. It doesn't matter what form of cricket. The heart rate just goes down. And
just that moment of pure relief when you know a globe isn't coming your way.
So Watkins really tried to whack that one to the onside.
I think he's taken ownership of the aggressor role now that Richard Green's been dismissed.
6 overs down, a 1 for 31. Chris McPherson, the end of the power play. Your thoughts on this start from the Black Roses? A good one for them, or maybe after the start from Richard Green, they could be a little more?
Oh, they certainly set an aggressive intent out there, and it looks like Rogers is following that on after the dismissal of Richard Green. So if they can continue that now, obviously a couple more fielders out, I think they'll be in a good position. Speaking of Richard Green, I am joined by him now. How are you, Richard?
Not too bad, mate. A bit warm, but not too bad.
You obviously went out there with some fairly aggressive intent, a role that's not necessarily as familiar to you these days, opening the batting.
Yeah, I'm lucky to see it these days, mate. But yeah, that was the plan. Me hitting a bit, and then you'll find Matty Rogers there. He'll push it around a bit, and try to bat through.
Yeah, obviously saw a few of them quite well. Cleared the fence a couple of times, had me in danger.
You're a big target.
Yeah, well, lovely, mate. I think that's the pot calling the kettle black, but I appreciate it. How's the pitch playing out there?
Yeah, it's pretty flat, mate. It's T20 pitch. It's nice and flat. The pink ball does next to nothing. It's a batter's game really.
So obviously looking to take advantage of this short boundary and just see what sort of score you can post.
Yeah, I think so. But it's important not to get caught up with the short boundary too. You got to score. Where the ball is. So if you start playing across the line, you're going to get out. Just like cricket.
And what do we think is a good total from here?
I think 150. Maybe 160. Whether we get there or not is another question. But if these two can bat another, 5 or 10 overs, then you'll find a lot of singles here. And if our bowlers bowl to our plans, we're in it.
Lovely, mate. Thanks for that. I look forward to seeing you darting around in the field.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Chris, and cheers, Richard, as well. Tim O'Neill bowling. We were chatting before about how he received some treatment in that first up win over the Waratahs, hit for 36 off his 4 overs. But he's been so dangerous in the Tom Locker Cup and the 2-day competition especially. 19 wickets in the 2 days this year for Tim O'Neill.
Looks like he's back to his wily best. It's been a very neat over.
He took 4 for 33 in the most recent 2-day match against Toronto. We'll chat about that in a second.
Some very interesting results over the weekend in the 2-day game. I wonder if it's players having to readjust from their midweek cricket all the way back to the 2-day format. Of course, Cardiff probably don't want to relive their weekend result.
O'Neill, that's a really good start for him. Yeah, Merewether on the weekend were knocked over for 51. Griffin Lee from Toronto took 8 for 20 at Ron Hill Oval.
Incredible.
What a super young talent he is, and there's talk that he's going to head down to Sydney next year. He definitely should, based on that.
Oh, he's an incredible talent. He's played for Australia under-19s, and of course he was in the Sixers program last year after winning that scholarship. So he's obviously a super talent, and he's proving it here in the Newcastle competition. Probably didn't have the start to the season that he would have liked, picking up 1s and 2s here, but on the weekend just simply blew Merewether away, who had just have, again, like Henwick, such a such a strong side, especially with the depth of batting that they do have.
Exactly. When you got the likes of Simon Moore in your side, what a legend he is of the local competition. Well, and Zach McGuigan, he's been hitting them beautifully this year as well.
Little does people know, but John O'Dunn is actually an international cricketer. He's played for Vanuatu.
He has, and Chad Soper, you've done a great piece on him as well, playing for PNG.
Yes, thank you, mate. If people want to look at that, they can feel free to Google that article. But yeah, Chad played a bit of Summer Bash a couple of years ago for Waratah. Now plays with Northern Districts, mainly positioned on the coast.
Harry Colbert bowling his first over for the Lions, the 8th over. Push through the covers for another single by Matt Rogers, who is doing just what Richard Green said he would, just work a few singles around. And we're talking about that, of course, Chad and John O'Dunn playing for Vanuatu. I love that competition, the second tier, and I feel the ICC probably could do more for lesser nations. We know the World Cup has been reduced in teams, and it's a little disappointing, but it's great to see sides like Vanuatu, PNG, Hong Kong, these smaller cricketing nations getting the chance to improve themselves.
Oh, absolutely, and people don't realise how far some of these nations have come. For instance, great shot there from Rogers. Looks like they'll get back for 2 pretty easily in the end. Yeah, for instance, Afghanistan, not many people know that they were languishing in bottom leagues 10 years ago, and now here they are as the newest test nation. So for a lot of these countries, and people don't realise, I've done a feature piece on Papua New Guinea cricket, and that's one of the main sports they play in the streets. They play just with rocks and sticks over there when they can't afford equipment, and they have a junior program called Lick Cricket, and they are coming along in leaps and bounds. A lot more Papua New Guinean children are wanting to play cricket, which is taking some children away from playing just playing rugby league. Which, I mean, it's been so dominant rugby league over there. It's great to have another sport that they're able to access. So, from my experiences, I feel it's a great initiative, and I just can't fathom why there's only 10 teams in the World Cup this year even. But hopefully the cricket ICC start to see these developing nations part of the broader answer.
8 overs down for the Black Roses, 1 for 46, so just a lick under 6 runs per over. Just on those developing nations, and on PNG specifically, not every kid can go and play rugby league because, like some of us, we're a little bit smaller and we don't want to get run into by the bigger bodies.
Are we referring to anyone we know, Ben?
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you're our size. Here's O'Neill.
It's been so good so far, O'Neill. Yeah, that's right. And cricket's one of those sports where it's for every person of every shape and every size. Doesn't matter how big or small you are, you can be a great batter or a great bowler or a great fielder. The 2007 World Cup would bring some memories to some people.
Dwayne Leverock, is that how you pronounce it, from Bermuda?
Big Dwayne Leverock from Bermuda.
And countries like Bermuda, we haven't seen them at the World Cup since, I'm pretty certain.
No, that's right. We had a really scaled back World Cup 4 years ago, which we took out.
Just the 12 teams, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now it's 10. Zimbabwe won't be playing in the World Cup, where they've been a mainstay of world cricket for so long.
Another single.
That same World Cup, Ireland knocked out India in 2007. So there's teams that can really cause dramas.
And how are they going to improve if they're not playing against the best?
That's exactly right.
It's simple in all facets of life. You're not going to improve if you're not testing yourself against the very best in your particular sport or art form, or putting yourself in those pressure situations.
Yeah, we might catch up with John O'Dunn later today. Hopefully ask him a bit about the Vanuatu cricket and bring that to your lounge rooms or
wherever you're listening,
wherever you're watching from.
So just having a chat here, Simon Moore, with Tim O'Neill. Is he going to move Josh Geary, who's at long off? Maybe you want someone back at long on. That big Sam Holding. Gee whiz, making a long run.
Oh, he's done some metres today.
Fielding at short fine leg, and now he's had to go out to mid-wicket. Not right on the rope.
He's been so tight so far, so he's more sensing something coming here.
Well, he is sensing it coming. And one bounce, or has it hit the white line on the full? It's been called a 4 by John O'Dunn. Do you believe it?
Yeah,
I said it's a 4.
Look, he's in the best view of the house, so I'll back him in. But it did look very, very close.
We'll see if we've got a look at the replay. He did sense it. Simon Moore, last delivery. Oh, it's tight. I don't know if we can rock it and roll it. Rock it and roll it a bit like the DRS.
Yeah, Merewether, can you rock and roll that,
Rock
please?
and roll it. Do you put a bit of AC/DC on in there? 1 for 54 after 9 overs, so right on 6 and over here. And good start to this over by Harry Colbert. Bowling his second. And they're going to get through here for a single. I just looked away for a moment now. Was he thinking he was just out of his ground, Pat Houlihan?
I think Houlihan just thought perhaps Rogers was creeping out of his crease a little too much.
I don't mind that. That was something I would do. That's something I would do.
Just
a
let him know you're there.
little run out. I can tell you I remember in the 3rd Ashes test back in 2006-7 series here in Australia, the day Australia reclaimed the Ashes in that series, I'm pretty sure there was a massive appeal and the England wicketkeeper...
Matt Pryor?
No. Geraint Thomas.
Geraint Jones.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of the cyclist. Geraint Jones. Yeah, Geraint Thomas won the Tour de France last year. Yes, Geraint Jones was actually run out by Ponting after an appeal, and he was out of his ground. Ponting flicked the ball onto the stumps.
You're right. You are correct.
Geraint Jones. Yes.
That's
a blast from the past. I was trying to remember his.
And sorry to link this back to Tier 2 cricket, but another interesting fact is that Geraint Jones actually played for Papua New Guinea as well.
When was that? That's interesting.
Maybe a couple of years after his England career had well and truly finished, but he was actually born there, not many people know, and lived a lot of time in Brisbane, played a lot of Brisbane grade cricket, so yeah. Sliding doors, could have played for Australia perhaps.
Just in the era of Adam Gilchrist, that would been his only issue. This sliced off the edge. Great take. Really good take from Michael Eccleston. Just fielding it in the gully or maybe just finer. And the captain is on his way.
I'd almost call that fly slip.
It was much finer than gully. Probably in that fly slip region. And just as the Black Roses were ticking the scoring along, Watkins had another slash there.
Probably not the one they wanted to lose either.
Eccleston with the catch.
Looks like we'll get Bills out there now.
He was born in Kundiawa, Geraint Jones, in Papua New Guinea.
See, I'm full of these useless bits of information.
I love it. That's great. Kundiawa. I don't actually know how I remembered that he got out in that particular way, but I'm pretty sure it's because I've got the DVD of that Ashes series and I've watched it back a few times, so I remember it was a great series. Sorry to those watching in England. Really sorry.
Myself and another friend have a tradition that before each Ashes series, we will watch the 06-07 and the 13-14 Ashes
over and over again.
just to relive some of the great moments of our life.
I'll add a caveat to that actually. Colbert worked nicely down the ground by the new man at the wicket, which is Bills. And the end of the 10th over, 2 for 58. We're talking about Ashes series and best Ashes, etc. My favourite series of cricket in the history of how long I've lived watching it was the 2005 Ashes. I know Australia lost, but that was my favourite cricket series of all that I've witnessed. That was such a wonderful series with so many twists and turns, and even though England won.
Yeah, I have to agree with you a bit there. It's a great series, and it's the only losing Ashes series I've ever bothered to watch back.
There's a good documentary actually on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Yeah, the Ashes to Ashes documentary.
Yeah, Ashes to Ashes. There's another one. Tim O'Neill starting his third over.
Gosh, he's been so good.
And maybe this pitch, we spoke last week about how this pitch is suiting the slower men. It's really suiting Tim O'Neill this afternoon. And they
Little fumble, they'll get back for 2.
pulled away behind square. Bit of work out there. Chad Mayo, it looked like it was out there on the boundary.
Started with plenty of intent today, Bills. Perhaps they've given him a bit of directive.
And again there, quickly into his work. Geary off the boundary.
Perhaps we could get Chris to go and have a chat with one of the Cardiff boys, see how they feel they're tracking so far.
Couple of balls left in this 11th over. I always say double the score after 12, so about 8 deliveries from that. Oh! And Tim O'Neill spilled it. Well, what a chance that was. Just got himself in a little bit of a tangle there off the outside edge, and it just ballooned back to the bowler. He'll be filthy with himself.
Just
Matt Rogers. And that's the end of the 11th, 2 for 64.
Just updating the other match out at Passmore Oval. Walls End, or the Tigers, are batting first against Uni, the Sea Dragons. And they are 1 for 74 off their 10. Nathan Price and Jacob Montgomery doing the damage there. Price 36 off 31 and Montgomery 27 off 23, both still at the crease.
Well, Nathan Price threatened to get going last week against Toronto, and he was caught at mid-off just as he was starting to get into the groove. We saw just how good he is. He's on the bounce. Well fielded by Simon Moore, the skipper, in a cover.
Colbert into his third straight over. It's been very tidy, 1 for 10 so far off 2.1. Gets a ton of second grade wickets, has played a bit of first grade too.
Boys, I'm joined by Jay Snedden down here, one of the Cardiff young guns. I'm told he turned 19 yesterday, so first of all, happy birthday, Jay.
Thank you.
How do you think you're shaping at the moment? Still on target for that total that Greeny was talking about around the 150?
Yeah, I think we're looking good if we can just get a few, push the 1s and 2s around and then hopefully look for some boundaries in the last 4 or 5 overs. If we've got wickets in hand, we should be up around 150.
Really well struck by Shannon Bills. A couple of bounces, another boundary.
Chris, can you just ask Jay just about the incident on the weekend where he was, to quote one of his teammates, panelled?
Mate, the boys upstairs are just asking about on the weekend, apparently you were panelled. Can you fill us in?
Yeah, batting second innings against Hamwicks and got it ducked into a short ball from Sam Webber and rattled me for a bit. Broke the helmet a bit, so yeah.
Mate, Sam Webber bowls at some pace, so that certainly wouldn't have tickled.
Yeah, no, I'd heard. I was down for 5 or so minutes and play was stopped for a while. It wasn't pretty.
How's he faring now?
No long-term damage, mate?
No, I was fine. Bit of a headache, but that was it.
Good to see, mate. So where are we going to see you coming into this batting lineup?
I'll bat at number 7.
Beautiful, mate. All best.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Chris.
Thanks to Jay as well, brother of Zach Snedden as well, who is playing at
Western
in the NPL. You're right.
He was started at Western, went to Valentine, back at Western.
He's flip-flopping. What's he doing? So that's the end of the 12th over. 2 for 73. They are really working along nicely here, rolling towards a total of just over 140 runs. And Jay actually plays. I'm pretty sure Jay's been playing at Western for the last few years. So
Goalkeeper.
Yes, a goalkeeper.
Yeah, his brother was actually one of the guys that tipped me into the incident on the weekend. Of course, Zach, one of our former podcasting friends.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for a better season with Western than he had with Valentine last year. It's a nice shot from Bills. It may only be worth the 1 run, and it will. And speaking of that, that's a good plug for Bar TV. The winter sports, the NHRU, the Rugby Union, the Rugby League, Real NRL, the NPL, the AFL. It'll all be back again this year. If I've missed something, I'm really sorry. The netball, it's all happening on Bar TV in
Hockey.
2019. Hockey's back. I think mainly the playoffs in that competition.
Basketball.
Mossy does a great job. Not sure about the basketball. O'Neill. So they're going to bowl him out. 4 straight overs from this southern end from Tim O'Neill. Well flicked to the onside. And they get back for 2. So Matt Rogers just doing exactly what his captain would have required from him.
Do we get much demand for croquet at Bar TV Sports?
Oh, almost got himself in a pickle there, Rogers. Nothing comes of it, though. No, croquet, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. I've played a bit of croquet once.
You haven't wrote them into
showing your
rowing
exploits? Croquet's not too bad, actually. And it's just around the corner. Pretty much just over the drain, the Croquet Club here at National Park. Sports precinct of the inner city of Newcastle. Sun setting on another beautiful summer afternoon. O'Neill to Bills, who looked to attack and in the end just tightened up the shot and rolled it down to John O'Dunn for just the single.
With Bar TV covering all that sport during the winter, I don't think there'll be any need to leave the lounge room. Just plug the laptop in with the HDMI cord and away you go.
Exactly, Chris. You don't have to pay for it either. How good does it get? And Rogers, well, he hit that solidly enough that it nutmegged Harry Colbert. Is there any punishment for a nutmeg? I know there is in football, but cricket, it's more so for the drop catches.
Yeah.
13 down, 2 for 79.
Depends on how desperate your team kitty is for fine money, but I know plenty of teams that's that's a $2 or $3 fine. 7 overs to go. What are you thinking is realistic here at the moment, Ben?
I think 140. Really on the cards. We said 12 overs down, 2 for 73. If you double that, 12 overs, double it, 146. And at least they have to get 130 from here.
The thing that helps them is they've got wickets in hand, which means that they can go a little harder than they possibly, if they'd lost wickets in that early period, it'd just be that catching up like we saw with Newcastle City last week. But here they're in such a dominant sort of position in terms of holding wickets in hand. They've got chance here to really chance their arm later on in the innings.
So Josh Geary, strong frame of Josh Geary returning to the attack, and he's dropped that one short, and Rogers can't quite take full toll. Straight to mid-wicket. I was going to say, any drop catches, nutmegs fielding, I thought this sound would work well. Is that a good Team Kitty sound?
I love the delay. But yes, I know plenty of fine masters that they love to find whatever and whomever, and that sound's going through their mind many times on a Saturday.
Especially when you drop a cat. Rogers just content with a single.
He's been accumulating really well so far this innings. Rogers just turning the strike over. Just making sure that they're getting towards the end of the innings with plenty of firepower and plenty of wickets in hand to be able to make a really big push.
And they haven't played stupid shots off deliveries that are on the stumps. And we saw that a little bit last week. Teams just trying to play the big shot for the sake of it. The Black Roses have shown here, just work the ball around. It's a big ground, number one sports ground. They've attacked the bad deliveries. They've done exactly what's been required. Until that, there's a commentator's curse. Just spooned backward of point. Well taken by Jono Dunn. And Shannon Bills is on his way off the ground.
But it just goes to show that obviously they've got wickets in hand. I mean, it's the middle of the 13th over, so they've decided one of them's going to go, and obviously that's Shannon in this case. So,
and to be honest, it was a wide delivery. He was just reaching for it in the end, and
he had to go after it, and unfortunately didn't quite get it. But replaced by his brother.
Yep, Aaron Bills is out there, one brother for another. Shannon, the leading run scorer of Cardiff players in this side this afternoon in the two-day competition, 188, and his brother Aaron, second highest of players in the side with 127 in the 2 days thus far in the season.
Yeah, very talented duo. Headed over from Raymond Terrace last season, which they won the comp with.
No 50s though, couple of 25s, a high score of 45 for the season. We'll see what he can deliver here. Made just the one in the opening round defeat for the Rosellas. 1 off 8 deliveries. He'll be hoping to score quicker than that, the left-hander. It's a great delivery from Josh Geary, right on the spot, first ball.
Yeah, that's right. And just with Bills coming out now at this point, it creates the left-handed, right-handed combination at the moment, which means the bowler's got to be changing their lines. If the batsmen are changing the strike over regularly, it just gives that little advantage. It doesn't let the bowler get set in their rhythm and their routine, so having to change the line, especially with T20 when bowlers are changing, from over to over just about.
And Josh Geary coming into this over, 2 overs, none for 5. I'd love to see his figures at the end of this one. This one just scooped up. It probably will land in front of Callan, who's coming in from long on. And the end of the 14th over, 3 for 83. Down to you on the boundary, Chris McPherson.
Yeah, Cardiff certainly setting a real tone here. It looks like they're using Rogers as that anchor role and sending out each of the bats from here. Both the Bills brothers with some instructions to be reasonably aggressive. Obviously, there's still a few overs in hand, but I think they'll be looking to ramp it up and still chasing that sort of 140 to 150 mark from here.
Very interesting move here, Ben.
Yeah, Josh Callanan back into the attack. He was punished in the first over. He was hit for 12, most expensive of the bowlers so far.
And what's more interesting is that it's a left-hander on strike, so he's hitting to the short boundary.
Gee whiz.
I think I might get my hard hat out.
I think you should, Chris.
I think you need to give him some credit too. I think you said before you didn't have any first-grade wickets. He did pick up 1 in the first game.
Oh, so are the stats wrong then?
No, if you check the scorecard, I'm pretty sure it has him 1 for... Hang on, let me bring that back up.
Ben's missed something here.
No. I just downloaded the stats from the NDCA's website. So maybe they haven't been... Maybe there's an issue in updating it into the overall statistics.
In the
yeah, 1 for 21 off 3 in the first game.
Sorry, Cal. I apologise. I should say that whoever's entered the stats. There's an error there. Better update that here. So better start to this over. 12 hit off the first. Is Simon Moore just trying to sneak an over in here, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's
Sneak another
That's
slow over in.
probably the thinking behind it, just because new batsman, looks like Rogers is playing that anchor role, so perhaps he's thinking he can get one out for less than 6.
He gets through for another single. So here we go. Chance for Aaron Bills to go on the attack. Maybe just lacking a little bit of confidence in the T20 format. He batted well on the weekend. He made 45 in the 2-day loss to Hamwicks. And they went down outright, and he also took 4 for 63 with the ball. Now, obviously, he didn't make 45 when they were bowled out for 37.
I was going to
the
say
other innings.
I was going to say some of the players may have had some demons from the first innings, but they certainly didn't show it in the second innings.
He scored more in the second innings than the entire team scored in the first. This is a much better over from Callanan. Again, still content just to work it round. So 1 ball left in the 15th, so 30 deliveries left after this. And he's taken it on, Aaron Bills. Will bounce in front of the field. Only the single. End of the 15th over. 3 wickets down for 88, the Black Roses. So if you think about it, 30 balls left. Surely they're good enough to score at least 42 and get to 130.
Yeah, well, Josh Callan will be really happy with that over. But, yeah, I'm thinking now 130, 135. Yeah, it's tough to pick a score at the moment.
Do they have the men left who can clear the ropes? I'm just looking here at Varun Sharma and Rahul Bakshi, who are out of the side. Between them, Sharma 9 sixes for the season in the 2 days, and Bakshi just the 1. And then you've got the 2 Bills brothers with 3 apiece. So he can clear the fence, Aaron Bills. Maybe not as prolific as Varun Sharma. We know of his class, but he can strike it nicely when he gets hold of it. Still happy with the singles as Zach McGuigan comes back on to bowl. Started nicely. First over. Did go for 8, so just above the scoring rate. He'll want to tighten that up this particular over.
Wonder if one of them decides now for just to raise the intensity just a little bit. 5 overs left. They don't want to get down to that last over, 105, and think what could have been.
Well, they're 3 wickets down, so that's the question. Plenty of wickets in hand. Does one of the say here, I'm just going to go for it.
I think
Mid-wicket is free. No one at deep mid-wicket. And again, he can't get it off the ground.
they're not going to get these away at the moment. They're just so full and so straight, which is testament to the way McGuigan's bowling. But yeah, I think it's about being smart about it, but also taking more estimated risks.
So Josh Geary just being put back on the fence at mid-wicket. And Tim O'Neill being... No, he's going to just push back into where he was at short fine leg. And Harry Colbert is coming into that mid-wicket role just to ensure they don't nudge it and get a couple. Going to run hard here. They should get back for 2. So maybe the ploy from Simon Moore to stop the 2 hasn't worked on that occasion. It was perfectly splitting Josh Geary and Sam Holding out there on the boundary at long on and mid-wicket.
It's been a really good over so far from McGuigan. He's executed pretty well.
He'll be hoping for another one right up there. Got that one a little shorter. Rogers couldn't get under it. Really held this innings together nicely, Michael Rogers.
Matt even.
Sorry, Matt Rogers. I'm just thinking of another. There's a famous Australian cyclist, Michael Rogers.
Yeah, well, that's...
I'm sorry.
That's what I was thinking is the former Titans half.
And Matt Rogers, yeah, it's a famous name in Australian sport.
That's twice today, Ben. You got cycling on the mind.
I don't know. I don't know why I've got cycling on the mind. I did go for a ride this morning, but I haven't been reading up about it or anything like that.
Tour Down Under was on recently, but...
It was. Just finished on the weekend.
Got another triathlon coming up soon, Ben.
Yes, the Spark Elmore coming up in February.
Very good.
24th, I think it is. 16 overs down 3 for 94.
Just over at Passmore Oval, and Nathan Price has brought up his 50 or 40 balls. Also brought up Wallsends 100, so they're 3 for 100 after 14 overs. And a former player of Newcastle cricket of recent years goes on to another one.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I reckon he's just an outside chance of doubling up there. Josh Callanan earned himself another over. I don't think he would have thought he would be bowling 3 after that first over.
Again to the left-hander with the short boundary. And this one probably will land safe. Again, he's just speed. Well, they're going to have to go here. Callanan took the bails off without the ball. And Bills got back, as did Matt Rogers.
I think that's answered our question as to who the aggressor's going to be. A couple of shots lately from Bills, which suggest he's perhaps looking to bring the intent up a little bit.
And he's heaved that one away. Bounces in front of Harry Colbert.
Do you reckon he's Colbert or Colbert? Like Stephen Colbert. Because it's the same spelling. Anyway, that's my musing for the day.
Depends whether he's got any French connection, I would think.
Perhaps that's one for Chris.
Colbert would be better, wouldn't it?
Perhaps that one for Chris on the sideline. If you could investigate that for us at some stage during this match, Chris.
I'll definitely look into that. I know his brother Clayton goes by Colbert, but knowing Harry, it could be either way, so we might try and find out in the second innings.
Maybe we can get it changed.
Deep hole.
Exactly.
Well, we did have Aaron Gray talking about how a few of the boys have picked up nicknames, and I believe after a couple of slips from you last week, Adrian Chad's now Aaron Chad, so maybe to start the campaign.
This one pulled away nicely. That will race to the boundary. Tim O'Neill wasn't charging after that one. It was lightning along the tarmac. Yes, and that was because I was calling with Aaron, and I was going to Aaron and Adrian. Yeah, I'll get it right next Thursday.
All is forgiven.
Josh Callanan couldn't quite make the fielding off his own bowling.
They're giving themselves a really good launching platform for this last 3 overs now.
Are they leaving it too late, though? They should get back for 2 here. And they will. Maybe even 3. Do they take it on? No.
I think their reluctance to put the foot down a little bit earlier may lay in the fact that those 2 guys are out, leaving not a lot of batting average or strike rate down the order here. So we've got a couple of young guns padded up to come in next, like young Jason that we spoke to earlier. So they may have been a little bit more reluctant than you might normally be with 7 wickets in hand at this point of the game.
Well, thank you, Chris. 3 for 106 off 17 overs. I'm really disappointed that Stephen Bradbury is not playing for the Seabees this afternoon.
If you've seen the way that Stephen Bradbury bats, he's perhaps not the T20 hitter that's required. Great batsman, but does like to take his time. And although he's
Just like Stephen Bradbury, the skater.
Yeah,
he took
yeah.
his time as well. And Rogers tried to flick that one to the onside off the outside edge.
Great.
Here's another two.
great fella, Steve Bradbury. I think he was studying some sort of science degree last time I'd caught up with him. So perhaps that's another reason he's not here today.
Another slow ball from McGuigan.
How good has McGuigan been today at hitting that spot? Just not giving the batsman any sort of length to get underneath. I don't think he's even been hit for a boundary.
Yeah, even though his first over did go for 8, yeah, they're all worked for ones and twos.
Just so handy to have such a young player who's obviously very talented with the bat, but can come on and bowl great areas.
You can see Tim O'Neill just being moved inside the circle. Short third man. And the ramp. He's brought the ramp out, Aaron Bills. And he wasn't even interested in a second run there. Didn't even turn around. Matt Rogers was looking for it.
Who tried that? Who tried that last game? That was tried it a number of times. Try and get a ramp off for who's the best ramper in the NCC Summer Bash.
That's fair enough. I don't mind that. Houlihan.
Oh,
Gee whiz.
You'd have to-
Almost.
you'd
There
have
was
to
a
think
fourth
that would have
stump.
been out.
There was a fourth stump. He would have hit it. And if you've missed it, the catch from Pat Houlihan last week,
It's a
how good was
screamer.
that? Bit of a French cut.
It's pinned to the top of Bar TV's Facebook page if you want to go and have a look.
Yeah, what a catch that was. And there is Zach McGuigan right on the spot once again. One delivery left in this 18th over.
Just while he regains his marker, the commentator's curse has struck again. Nathan Price out for 53 over at Passmore Oval, as Walls then look to set a total for Uni to chase. They're 4 for 114.
No ball from McGuigan. That is not good, as that will be a free hit.
Yes, thanks for the update there, Chris.
I'm surprised Nathan Price hasn't been hitting the ball over here to number 1 sports ground from Passmore Oval. Only just across town. He hits them big. So here we go, a free hit for Aaron Bills. Problem is, he hasn't got the short boundary to work with if he's going to go towards the onside. Does he back away and go over the off? No, he doesn't. Another no ball. He's just wavering here at the end, McGuigan.
It's 3 runs, and these are coach and captain killers. Right at the death of the innings where you're trying to keep things tight, offering extra deliveries.
Now, you know Matt Rogers is more of a worker than a hitter. Can he go big here and knock it over the boundary?
I wonder if he's going to charge, try and get above that length. Maybe you heard me talking then.
So Tim O'Neill's going to come back. The
Yeah.
issue was they were going to have too many men outside the circle, which would have been another no ball.
Another no ball.
He backs away, and it's a wide. It's going to be another free hit. Wow. This is the never-ending over. It's the over every bowler doesn't want in their wildest dreams.
Yeah.
You wake up thinking, thank God that was a dream. Unfortunately for Zach McGuigan, it's right now on number 1 sports ground. He'll want to finish it well here. Put it up in the block hole. And he's clean bowled him, but it's going to run away for 4. Well, how unlucky could you get? He's knocked him over, but it was a free hit, and it's raced away for 4 byes.
That is incredible.
Or has he got a little edge on
I don't
it?
know.
So I didn't see the
No, I
byes.
don't think the hand was up.
No, maybe it was a little French cut. In the end, it's probably worked better than really trying to go over the boundary.
I was going to say you'd be dirty if you were Pat Houlihan, giving away 4 byes like that. Nothing you could do about it.
So 18 overs gone, 3 for 122. That over really expensive for Zach McGuigan and the Lions.
And that helps them big time.
2 overs left and the Black Roses are 3 for 122.
We're talking last over how perhaps they may have left their run too late. Well, looking with 2 overs left, talk about getting 2 a ball. If they do that, 150 is within striking distance. The man standing between them at the moment and that score is Sam Holding, who was so good early on.
And credit to them, without their 2 best batsmen, with over 500 runs between them, Bakshi and Sharma in the 2-day competition, and if you bring in their 1-day stats, well, you're looking at over 700 runs, maybe up towards 800.
Yeah, it's a big gap for them to fill, and done admirably today.
So Sam Holding. Maybe that one just slowing up off the pitch.
Perhaps a change up from Holding.
He was through that one about a week before the ball arrived, Aaron Bills. Great start for Holding. He has got the short boundary to work with, the left-hander. And he couldn't quite take it on. Another ball is just going to land safe. Really, really good running from Matt Rogers, who's been out there for most of the innings.
He's been outstanding at doing that today, Aaron Bills. Just getting him to land in front of the fielder, on the hop, scampering through for a double.
So Bills, he's keen to take on the short boundary, and it's going to pay dividends.
First one tonight to clear the outer fence of Newcastle #1 sports ground. That was a beautiful shot. Exactly what the Black Roses needed at this time of the innings.
And he just waited on it enough. We saw the first ball of the over. He was deceived by the pace on that occasion. He just waited long enough. A bit like Matt Ryan this morning in the penalty shootout for the Socceroos. Just waited and waited and smacked it over the fence. And this time he goes over the offside. It's going to... Well, I thought it was just going to go over Simon Moore. And he couldn't reel it in. He'll be furious, the captain.
I think he may have even thought it was going over him. He just sort of ambled back and
It hung up in the breeze, didn't it? I thought it was going way over him.
he's realised.
Here it is.
Yeah, I think he's realised late that he's had to catch it, and yeah, he made a fatal error there.
There is an east nor easterly blowing, so that's sort of coming across the ground, and that would have just held the ball up enough, you sense.
Have you checked what Matt Rogers is on in a while? Because I'd like you to guess before you look at what he might be on.
I'm going to say around the 40 mark.
Yeah, okay.
I will bring that to you. Holding. Off the edge, and not quite pouched by Chad Mayo. It was sprawling away to his right. Great effort. Those ones are always tough because the ball can spill out as you hit the ground hard. The end of the 19th over. There it was. Just eluding him. 3 for 134. He's a better angle. This will be a terrific shot. Just dipped on him, didn't it?
Yeah. I think because of the angle that it was hit at, just swirled, became fairly difficult. Some Cardiff supporters there.
Great crowd in here at number 1 Sports Ground. And Josh Geary is going to bowl the final over. Merewether's sole Kingsgrove T20 Cup representative. Took a couple of wickets in that competition. And he's been on the money this afternoon.
Yeah, just on Matt Rogers, he's 40 not out. And it feels like he's done the Michael Bevan. You don't really notice, and then you look up and all of a sudden he's on 40.
Just shows you how important it is just to stick it out there. And he's only just scored over a run of ball. But if you've got players around you scoring a little more than a run of ball, all of a sudden you're looking at a really neat total, and that's what they're looking at here. 3 for 134. This is going to be no easy feat for the Lions.
145's within their grasp, and 150, that's a real big chance.
If you bowl well, 150 should win you the match. Well, that's gone up high. Josh Callanan getting under it. And that one pouched.
I think he just caught that bit low on the bat and wasn't able to muscle it over straight boundary. Good catch from Josh Callanan running around.
And he probably picked the longest part of the boundary. It went up high. Callanan, eyes on it all the way. Gobbled it up.
Yeah, it's hit very low on the bat. I think he's may even towed it.
Oh, don't you love this? Batsman coming out, Matt Edwards, swinging the bat around. There's nothing better than that. You just think, here we go. A few big shots here for the final over. We saw David Hancock come out, as we see him leave the park.
He got
great innings from Matt Rogers.
Dave Hancock, he got 48 on the weekend with a couple of big sixes, I hear. So
put your hands right at the top of the bat and you just swing it like a toothpick.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen his innings. He looks like a very entertaining batsman when he gets going.
So they did cross. Bill's on strike. Slow ball from Geary.
Very nice change up.
And we'll head down to the boundary. Chris McPherson.
Yeah, joined by Matt Rogers. You were the spine of that innings after that first wicket, mate. How did that play? You obviously pretty much a run a ball 40.
Yeah, well, I thought it was quite tough to start on. It's quite a slow wicket, and I thought they bowled quite well, varying their pace a bit. Particularly some of the more experienced bowlers just rolling the fingers on a few of them, and it's getting quite hard to hit out there. But as soon as that ball gets soft, I think we'll have to bowl and field well to defend this one.
And that ball that got you out looked like just hit a little bit low on the bat.
Yeah, just towed it, didn't quite get it. Bit of a shame. Thought I could get it over mid-on, but yeah, just didn't quite get it.
Looking at a total, probably in the 140s now. You think that's defendable on that pitch?
Yeah, I definitely think so. As I said, we're going to have to bowl and field well, and use that long boundary quite smart. Bowling into the wicket, I think, is key on this one.
Lovely, thanks, mate.
No worries, thank you.
Another good slow ball from Geary, but it is a wide, just down leg side.
He started off so well this over, Geary. Now he's given 5 off the 3 balls. 4 while Chris was interviewing Matt Rogers. So 145, well within their grasp. Only one foul sweep away from perhaps putting themselves in contention for 150 here.
And that one is really well taken. He's made up slightly for that drop catch. Simon Moore backpedaling and gobbled that one up.
Nat Duggan, new batsman. It's a hard task coming out when there's 2 balls left, knowing that you're not on strike and you may only face one, and you're expected to at least hit a boundary off it.
You really do just have to swing the bat in the arms as you're walking out there, don't you? Really warm up the arm muscles. So Matt Edwards.
Looks like a big strapping young lad. Here he's a die-hard Leeds fan in the English Premier League.
Yeah, they might get promoted actually to the EPL this season. They're up the top of the championship, the second tier over there in the UK.
Yeah, nostalgic EPL fans will be loving the sight of, or the thought of, Leeds heading back into the Premier League.
Dave Masters, let's go Matt Edwards. Well, here we go. We'll get a good look at Matt right now. Big swing, and, well, he would have run him out had they dashed through for a quick single. It was a good decision from Matt Edwards just to keep his bat in the ground. Just kept it inside the line. Great 10-pin bowling from Houlihan. So final ball here of the 20 overs. Another big swing. Houlihan has another attempt on this occasion. He misses, and they reach 5 for 140. The Black Roses, after their 20 overs, a run rate of exactly 7. And that one is very defendable, a total of 140. Very much a chance now, the Black Roses. They've put themselves...
Well done by Nat Duggan too, that last bit of play. You don't underestimate how important that is just to get that psychological 140.
We said that for the Sabres last week when they finished their 20 overs at 99. How important it was for them to get to the 100 in the end. It mattered little, but 140, that is a more than competitive total based on the scores we've seen at number 1 sports ground. And sides batting second always find it a little harder to pick up the pink ball with the dying light.
Yeah, that's correct, Ben, and it's going to be no different today. Although blue skies, it's just starting to see the sun go down perhaps a little bit earlier than it has done on last couple of occasions. So shadows are well and truly across the field. Be interesting to see how Merewether attack this chase.
Well, Chris, finally we'll get your thoughts and then we'll have a bit of a breather.
Yeah, I think Cardiff did really well. Getting that 34 off those last 3 overs is crucial. Obviously, when they were sitting at that sort of 3 for 106 with 3 overs in hand, it looked like they were going to struggle to post a genuinely competitive total. But they got some good bowling in their ranks, as Matt Rogers talked about. If they can bowl smart and use the longer boundaries, they'll do quite well and quite possibly defend this. But Merewether's experience, I'll probably still lean to them.
The question I've got for you, Josh, is has the shorter boundary contributed to a higher total? Because they really attacked the shorter boundary, Cardiff. We saw Richard Green do that early. Has that potentially contributed to a high total? I know obviously 10 overs are bowled from the longer boundary and 10 overs are bowled when you're hitting towards the shorter boundary. But do you think that had any kind of an impact?
Look, there was a couple of boundaries that perhaps wouldn't have been had the pitch been a little further over to the middle of the square, but it's the same for both sides. I really think it's until we see Merewether bat and how they attack it, it's one of those things in cricket you just have to estimate once you've seen both sides.
Yeah, I'm just interested that with that concept, because obviously the pitch last week was closer to the middle, so therefore you're probably not going to hit as many boundaries, whereas today a few more boundaries on this side and they were running some 2s to the longer boundary, so maybe could have helped with the larger total. Anyway, we'll take a break for 10 minutes and we'll be back with the run chase. The Lions netting 141 runs to win. Well, welcome back to number one Sports Ground. It's round 2 of the Newcastle City Council Summer Bash. The Merewether Lions looking to make it 2 wins from 2. And the Cardiff Boolaroo Black Roses looking to bounce back after their round 1 defeat to Western Suburbs. And they've set a very competitive total, 140. So the Lions need 141 to win it. And Simon Moore, the captain, is going to face up. He's out there with Josh Geary, the all-rounder. Very accomplished batsmen, these two. And it will be Aaron Bills, who batted so well at the end of the innings for the Black Roses, who is going to open up
with his leggies.
Tell me a little bit about Aaron.
So Aaron is, I think he's around 20, 21. He's come from Maitland. He's played with Raymond Terrace, his juniors, and went and played with Northern Districts, played first grade down there. Last year returned back to Raymond Terrace midway through the season, and in his first game back with the club took what's described by Maitland historian Lindsay Wood as one of the top 5 bowling performances of all time in Maitland cricket. He got 9 for 49, I'm pretty sure, maybe 39, and it was only betted by in recent history by a man called Les Vickery, who took 10 for Northern Suburbs. So, yeah, he started with a bang last season, guided the Lions to the T20 Cup and the...
Simon Moore comes down the wicket, punches that one through cover. Getting around to do the fielding was Aaron's brother Shannon.
Yeah, they did the double last year, the T20 Cup and the Maitland first grade premiership, so it was a vital cog, and that as well as Shannon. Shannon played a bit down in Northern Districts as well. Didn't quite make first grade, but both boys very, very talented. And yeah, they've ended up here at Cardiff and have obviously been very instrumental for him, as you said, made plenty of runs, and both of them have made some inroads with the ball.
4 for 63 for Aaron on the weekend in that defeat to Hamwicks. A tough weekend. And is there a feather on that from Josh Geary? Cardiff thought so. Umpire unmoved. Great start here, none for 1.
Skipper Nick Watkins behind the stumps.
He's right on the spot from the outset, Aaron Bills.
Not their usual keeper, Watkins. Their keeper, Lachlan Marr, not available for this match, so... But he's usually the one behind the pegs.
So Geary just nurdles that one into the onside. Through they go. But just 2 off the first over from Aaron Bills. Very pleased with that.
Yes, leg spinners have become so vital in the T20 competition. In the international game, you'll notice the likes of Rashid Khan, Adil Rashid, Ish Sodhi from New Zealand, all leg spinners that have virtually transformed the game by just making it so difficult to score from them, but also taking bagfuls of wickets. I think Rashid Khan would possibly be the best T20 player in the world at the moment. Just phenomenal, his ability to turn a match with his leggies.
And just on Aaron Bills, 2 for 20, took both wickets. The only 2 wickets in that win over the Rosellas off his 4 overs, so very tight bowling from him. And again here, just 2 off the first over.
Yeah, they'll be wanting to keep this power play period very tight. Their English import here, opening the bowling, Dan Carter, not the former Kiwi fly half.
We've got Matt Rogers, Dan Carter.
Make a footy team.
I was going to say, it looks like the Cardiff side are just bringing in namesakes, celebrities. Steve Bradbury as well, obviously in their ranks.
Exactly. Oh, Josh Geary, he's got lucky there. Fizzing across the outfield. He's got some pace. Jay Snedden, he tracks that down. Good pace for a goalkeeper as well. Maybe he should be better utilised up front.
Do you reckon he's quicker than his brother?
Yeah, I think so.
Shout out Zach if you're listening.
I don't think he would be.
No, cricket's not his sport. If Dan Carter come over from one of Cardiff's, well, their sister club in England. It's in Sussex, called Fritton-on-Sea.
Is it on the sea? Or is it a river called the sea?
Believes I haven't actually ever been there, but the likes of Richard Green played with them. Sam Bryans, who played first grade a few years ago, he's over there playing with them. But
terrific relationship. We talk about the local clubs with Sydney clubs, but also local clubs with overseas clubs. Wonderful to see. That well worked by Simon Moore, trying to make Richard Green do a little bit of work.
But yeah, Cardiff has always had very close ties with English clubs. I know their opening bowler, one of their opening bowlers, well, not opening today, but regular openers, Nathan Hillier, he wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Cardiff bringing in an English bowler called Paul Hillier, who I think is a batsman actually. His son's a bowler.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship, really. Benefits for both.
Yeah, of course.
You know, English players coming out here and Aussies going over there to the UK as well. Terrific. Here he is, the Englishman. Looked to be a slower ball.
I'm going to bring some more Maitland trivia out here, but Josh Geary actually holds the highest opening partnership in Maitland District Cricket with Phil Callanan. They put on 400 for the opening wicket. Scored a double hundred, Josh Geary, that day. Would you believe? Would you believe their team went on to lose the match?
No, with an opening stand of 400. You wouldn't hear that very often. Good start, though, from Dan Carter. A little bit expensive off the first couple of deliveries, but a good response. Hit Geary on the pad previous delivery. Now to the captain. And he's just got that one caught between bat and pad. Really jammed him up there.
Interesting action here from Carter. It's a bit sort of lowers his shoulders into the action. Very whippy. Some more Cardiff supporters there behind the side screen. President Matty Marr and club stalwart Doug Patricic.
Can we get a closer view of that shirt? The bloke's wearing on the far left, if that's all right.
That's Doug Patricic. He's the former second grade scorer. I'm not sure if he's still doing it at the moment, but he's a very colourful character.
You can see him
just
we'll see him in a second.
In the top left-hand corner of your screen in the Hawaiian shirt.
Aaron Bills to continue. Geary happy to get off strike.
Aaron Bills another over. So good in the opening one, just giving away 2 runs.
But it's wickets that are going to win them this match, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to restrict runs, but wickets are paramount to winning their game. But they come hand in hand. If you restrict the runs, you're going to force the error.
So just a slight change in the field. Deep cover comes up and mid-off goes back to long off. And Simon Moore just goes whack over cover, which would have gone straight between the two fielders anyway. Didn't make too much of a difference in the end. And it's
beautiful
a poor
shot.
delivery, wasn't it?
Reminiscent of what Richard Green did early on.
Just got to land it, doesn't he?
Just targeting that cover region with the short boundary. There's only so many fielders you can put out. You just got to find the gap.
They were 1 for 29 off 6 overs, so at the end of the power play, Cardiff. That one stayed low, almost went underground.
Perhaps put the flipper in. He's bowled a couple like that so far. Just the change up.
Richard Green showing off his football skills there. Look at him. He looks pleased with himself as well. Got the big size 12 in the way. Another ball just stayed low. Good finish from the young man Aaron Bills.
5 off, but it was only really that one ball that was a poor delivery.
We'll head down to the boundary line. Chris McPherson, how do you think those boys, the Merewether boys, are feeling after that start?
Look, I think with the experience they've got in the bank, they'll know that there'll be runs to come later on, and the experience out there, obviously, of Geary and Moore. We'll be just waiting for a few of those bad balls to start running up their momentum.
Who are we looking at padded up at the moment?
I'm just trying to get some numbers. Looks like Paddy Houlihan might be, and just trying to make out who the other one is. Zach McGuigan, of course, who's one of their form batsmen, so look for some fireworks from him if he gets to come in later on.
Made a half century on the weekend, McGuigan, and Simon Moore got that one away. Shouldn't go to the boundary.
Very fortunate. He gets the leading edge and it flies over extra point region. They've got such a long batting lineup too, Merewether. You look at if Houlihan and McGuigan are padded up at the moment, you've got the likes of John O'Dunn, Mick Eccleston, Chad Mayo. Just makes it a long batting order.
Now a French cut from Moore. Well, luck's a fortune for him this afternoon. Jeepers creepers. Oh, that felt like it hit my ear.
It's hit our boom. It's hit right underneath that boom mic.
I dead set thought the ball was going to hit me there. God. How are you going, Paul, in there? Oh, Liam's got the headphones in as well.
Look at it. It's just underneath our boom mic.
Oh.
Just talking about that batting order, even the old Wiley Fox, Tim O'Neill, scored 88 earlier this season in the 2-day games.
88 not out as well. How good is that for the average? And it's not often you see Simon Moore not leading Merewether's run scoring in the 2-day competition or the 1-day competition. Zach McGuigan is the leading run scorer in the 2 days this year. And Eccleston in the 1 days. Trying to get a few runs here, Simon Moore.
You say how often he's not leading it, but I wonder who's coming second.
Yeah, he's always there and thereabouts, isn't he?
I didn't really have to check the stat sheet. I was pretty sure he'd be there or thereabouts.
He's not. He's always not far off. And in the first match in this T20 competition, he made 5 off just the 10 deliveries.
It's a lovely ball.
Really good delivery from Daniel Carter. He started nicely. And interesting here, we've seen captains have different opinions on whether you bowl bowlers for a period of time, a spell, a couple of overs, or whether you just stick them on for the 1 over. And he's gone with 2 openers, and he's given them a couple of overs each. I don't mind this from Nick Watkins.
I think it's the first time we've seen it in this competition so far.
I think you're right. Definitely what we've been commentating on the Tuesday, Thursdays here at number 1. The end of the over, a really good one from Dan Carter. Yeah, but normally you've got, we have had one particular bowler maybe bowl 2 or 3, but at the other end it's only just been the 1 over spell. So great to see he's just giving his 2 openers a little bit of a chance to get into their groove, get a bit of rhythm. There is going to be a change here though.
Nathan Hillier coming on. He's state under-19s representative. Very handy bowler.
Just the 1 over in the first match of the T20 Summer Bash. And that went for 14 runs against the Rosellas. It was near the end of the innings, and that was where Aaron Wivel was smacking it to all parts. alongside Mark McLaughlin as well. Chris, we were talking about that last week. I remember Mark was having a whale of a time out there at Harker.
Yeah, it's great to see some of these season campaigners come backing in. We had Mark Dryes obviously return for Hamwicks as well, and shows that experience can be invaluable in T20 cricket.
Hillier in for his first ball.
I wouldn't have minded a fly slip in there for Josh Geary. Slash that one away.
Hillier sporting a small patch on the chin, perhaps trying to channel some sort of Curtly Ambrose vibes.
Well, here we go. They're really stacking the offside. There's literally 3 men on the onside here. And Simon Moore cracks this one down to mid-off.
Yeah, he's got to be on target every ball here, Nathan Hillier. Can't afford for anything loose down the leg side because it's just going to go. Seen it before. Simon Moore, such an excellent player, even off his legs.
You really can't bowl on the stumps at all.
No.
Even if you're bowling on off stump, he could walk across and work it. And now, square leg has been pushed inside the circle. So no one on the boundary on the onside. And Simon Moore almost in a pickle. He's hit the stumps. What a piece of fielding that is. And such an important wicket for the Black Roses. Is that something that can really turn the momentum their way?
It's a beautiful piece of fielding. Matt Rogers, I think it was.
Aaron Bills, we talked about his ability with the ball. Well, he's come in handy in the field.
And Simon Moore is made to pay the price, the Merewether captain, for a little bit of miscommunication with Josh Geary. He would have roasted his partner, barbecued him, if he had have gone through for the quick single anyway. So in the end, it's probably better if he makes his way off the ground, because he would have felt terrible if Josh Geary had been run out.
Big wicket. They be absolutely wrapped with that at the moment, Cardiff. Job not done, though. As we see Zach McGuigan make his way to the crease in good touch, Ben.
Very good touch. Most runs for them in all competitions this season. 194 runs in the 2 days and 110 in the Tom Locker Cup through 3 matches. So he's certainly a man in form. 58 on the weekend.
Second innings.
Yes, after they were bowled out for 51 in the first. Griffin Leo, we were talking about that.
Yeah, very similar weekends almost for the two sides here. Bowled out for very low scores and then making amends in the second dig.
We'll take that. McGuigan to get off the mark. And these two sides, probably a little bit of a dip in form of late. Merewether losing on the weekend, and Cardiff starting the season so well with 2 wins from their first 2 and then losing 3 straight. And these two sides met in the Tom Locker Cup actually in round 5. Cardiff Boolaroo getting the win. Simon Moore made 54 and Eccleston 51. And then Bakshi 99 for Cardiff and Watkins 77. So they've got the confidence and know-how. They know how to get the job done against the Lions in the shorter format.
I think that was their first win for a number of years over Merewether. There is the Gordon Goffett Shield that these clubs play for every time they meet. Of course, Gordon Goffett, member of both clubs, and at times throughout his career. And yeah, I think that's the first time Cardiff held it for 4 or 5 years. So
McGuigan slashes that one backward of point. It is racing across the outfield, and it will just get to the rope in time. Or has it? Maybe it hasn't got to the rope.
no,
it has,
Bill's
definitely.
signalling a teasing run for him.
It's a long boundary out there, isn't it?
Keeps you one of those ones just keeps you interested every step of the way.
just on that match, Dan Carter was the star of the show. 4 for 29. I know Bakshi made 99, Watkins 77, but Carter 4 for 29. That's what he needs to do. Really rip the heart out of the lines here, and he's going to get another chance to do it with his third over. We'll head down to the boundary. Chris McPherson.
You're joined by Harry Colbert. First of all, mate, obviously not ideal to Skip getting out there.
Yeah, no, a bit disappointing. The boys, he was hitting pretty well to start, so yeah, shame to lose him early.
The big money question, though, the boys were discussing in the first innings, is it Harry Colbert or Harry Colbert?
Colbert's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some French in there somewhere, but yeah, Colbert's fine.
That's enough for me. A bit of French in there, that'll be Colbert. So still pretty confident, obviously, with Simon in the digs now, but you've got plenty of batting to come. Still confident to chase this?
Yeah, mate, yeah, definitely confident. Gears have been hitting pretty well back from country stuff, so... And, hopefully we can utilise this short boundary down this side and, get home.
And who are we going to be looking for clearing this fence here? Obviously, Zach's in some pretty good form.
Zach's in some great form, mate. I'll back him to do it. John O'Dunn's likes to go hard at the ball, so I'll back him to do it as well, mate.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Harry.
Thanks, mate.
Very good. Thank you, Chris.
I love Colbert as well as Josh Geary works this one out to the square leg boundary. Shouldn't get there, but they will get back for 3. Now, this would not happen very often by this point of the season. Not one Merewether player has made a century in any first grade competition thus far.
That's very surprising. I dare say the top score would have been O'Neill's 88 not out, which, if it is
spot on.
Incredible.
Spot on. Josh Geary with an 84 not out. Simon Moore an 85. No hundreds though.
Could have written your own ticket to have that possibility at the start of the year.
And McGuigan on strike now. Is this one a wide? He's been really consistent. High score of 58. 200s, couple of scores over 25.
Can I put one for the vault?
Yeah.
I think this will be the lad that scores the first century for him this year.
All right. 5.3 overs in. Record that.
Not today, but this year. At some point, he'll score a ton, and it'll be the first for Merewether. So Bar TV, put that in your vault and release it once it happens.
I'd back Simon Moore in to do that, to hit the first 100 for Merewether.
Probably.
Oh, is that a safe bet? You're getting $1 on that.
Yeah. Backing each way there, mate.
So Carter continuing.
He's been so good, Carter. He's kept it so tidy early on.
And this is incredible. We've talked about how good Cardiff were. Merewether are actually going to surpass. They're already ahead of the Black Roses' score after 6 overs. They were 1 for 29.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? It just seems like Cardiff started that bit better.
Merewether have just worked the ball around a lot better in this opening period. McGuigan can't get that one away. But maybe just marginally ahead of that particular landmark with a ball left in the 6, because there was that one wide. But based on the run rate, it's getting up there. Near the 8 runs and over. Plenty of wickets in hand, though, for the Merewether Lions. He's not getting any runs there. Great 3-over spell this from Dan Carter. And you're probably tempted to bowl him out. He's got his rhythm. He's got his line and length spot on. Well, why wouldn't you just bowl him another one? I feel if you bring someone back for 1 over late, they can spray it around all over the place, bowling-wise.
Yeah, and we saw that a little bit with, was it Sam Holding towards the end of Merewether's innings, where it just sort of, Zach McGuigan, where he had that 1 over spell where it just sort of didn't work for him, couple of no balls, the wide, and ended up giving Cardiff a really big launching pad for that last over. But I think Carter, you're on the money there. I think they go straight out with his 4 overs, 3 overs so far, none for 15. He's got the pace behind him that perhaps if he comes back in the latter stages and doesn't quite get it on the money, could be a case where he can use his pace to perhaps manoeuvre the ball. So Nick Watkins just directing traffic here. Nath Hillier coming on for his second over.
They've got two men very close, just a point and behind point on the offside here for Geary, who decides to work it straight down the ground, try to hit that with some venom, but no runs on offer.
Good start.
8 wickets for Nathan Hillier in the 2 days so far this season. Third highest wicket taker for Cardiff. And we're yet to see Matt Willett bowl. He's taken the most wickets for them in the 2 days, 13. Again, no runs for Josh Geary. Well fielded off his own bowling again there by Hillier.
Yeah, Matt Willett's really the ace up their sleeve for Cardiff Boolaroo. Been so good over a number of years, and he's played a lot of Kingsgrove T20 cricket for Blasters and the Steel. So
Geary was under a bit of pressure there. Well flicked off the pads and down to the boundary. Just under the covers there. There'll be no need for them during play today.
just strayed from his line there onto the pads of Geary, and he's taken full effect, especially with the field that Watkins has got out for Hillier at the moment. Really needs to get it on the offside.
And now they've pushed a man out just backward of square. Around, not quite fine leg, but in between.
Yeah, he strayed again. Thankfully the man out there deep.
It's Jay Snedden, or it's Aaron Bills actually.
Aaron Bills. At the moment he looks like Matt Rogers and Jay Snedden.
Affected the run out to get rid of Simon Moore. He'll be feeling good about himself, won't he?
Yeah. Well, Cardiff still got Willett and Matt Edwards. Jay Snedden can also bowl. In a good position at the moment. Shannon Bills also had some overs.
So McGuigan on strike.
It's a lovely shot, but it's straight to man standing there at short mid off. It's,
Matt Rogers.
Matt Rogers, yeah. Couldn't quite grab the number.
And couldn't quite get a half century. He deserves a half century, didn't he, earlier today? Held the innings together for the Black Roses. Especially with Sharma and Bakshi not in the side after an on-field issue. Slow ball. Well delivered by Hillier. And that's the end of 7 overs. 1 for 36.
Just that one ball that strayed onto the pads of Josh Geary that cost him just that tidy over they were looking for, but still very good. Under the run rate, 5 off. There's his father on the left-hand side of the screen. Paul, some Cardiff supporters.
Just a quick update from over at Passmore Oval, and the Sea Dragons find themselves in a little bit of strife. They're 3 for 31 with Pat McGann taking 2 early wickets and Nathan Price getting the key wicket of Andrew Buddy Harriet for 3 for 31 off 6, chasing 142.
Thanks, Chris. Who else have they lost?
Nathan Hudson for a duck and Sam Logan for 3 off 10.
Nathan Hudson, he's another big key wicket. Such a hard hitter of the ball. It was so good for the Blasters over a number of years. So that's another big loss.
He actually starred with the ball today. I think he got a 5 for.
Incredible. He'll be wanting all-rounder status.
Not good for a Sea Dragons fan up here in the commentary box. Geary is able to just nudge that one into the mid-wicket region. They'll get back for 2. Easy as you like. That's all they need. The throw does hit the stumps from Jay Snedden.
Yeah, I think I've kept my allegiance pretty quiet today.
Well, lucky you're not on camera. That's all I can say.
It's pretty clear if you hear at the ground who you're barracking for, Josh.
Well, we both look like we're barracking for Cardiff because I've got the dark blue on as well, although my shirt does say France. So.
Yeah, mine's got the Cardiff Boolaroo logo on it.
So Dan Carter, I was talking him up and saying, yeah, it's so important to bowl in 4 straight. Maybe he's just a little fatigued here, wavering with his line and length.
Your French shirt, Ben, could have you a foot in both camps with Harry Colbert.
Exactly, Harry Colbert. Do we know when he's coming out to bat?
Based on history, I'd say a fair way down the order.
30 runs this season. A couple of not outs. A highest score of 26 not out. That's not bad. Take that. It's in the 2 days for the Lions. So Carter into McGuigan. And that's right on the money. That's where he needs to be. With just the 3 men out. 6-3 field.
Carter will just be looking to try and close out this over.
And there's an easy 2 in the onside if McGuigan wants it. And there will be another 2 if they're good enough. Jay Snedden is speeding. Well, he's done really well there, Jay Snedden. Credit to him. Got in quick and stopped a second run. You probably could say poor running, but I'm going to give the credit to Jay Snedden.
No, he was fantastic there. He attacked the ball and just put that little slimmer of doubt in the mind of McGuigan, decided against it.
You always look to the positive, don't you? Too often in life we look to the negatives. So long on goes back, Hillier. And Matt Edwards comes into the circle. Short third man. And Geary backed away. Tried to sort of just lob it up over the infield, over cover.
Just not quite getting his timing right at the moment, Geary.
You've got a bit of work to do here. 8 overs, 1 for 40.
I don't know what the comparison for Cardiff was at the same point, but it just seems like it's starting to wrestle the momentum their way, the CBs.
I can tell you after 8 overs, Cardiff were 1 for 46.
Okay. Just starting to nudge ahead.
The crucial thing Merewether's going to have to keep in mind is those last 3 overs that Cardiff had. They took 34 off those. We saw last week Toronto finish with a real bang, and that really caught Wall's end sort of sleeping watching the comparison rates.
Yeah, 34. Thanks for that, Chris. I was going to mention that. 34 off the last 3, Ben. It's going to be costly if...
That's 8 overs gone, and the Lions are 1 for 42.
Sorry. I was waiting for that sound effect, which is why I did not finish my sentence, and it took forever. Anyway, Matthew Willett is now into bowl.
Sorry, I was just being reminded of what happened to Ben Balcombe last week, and that was his reaction, wasn't it?
Did quite well on social media, that video.
If you haven't seen it, just search Bar TV Sports on Facebook. You'll see Pat Houlihan's catch. So watch that first and then just scroll down to the next video and you'll probably see where Ben Balcombe gets hit in a region as a male or female.
It's quite painful.
Especially male. You don't want to be hit. And that one has got snow on it. And he's settled under it. And another juggling act. Well, we've got Cirque du Soleil on here this afternoon. Matt Edwards, the latest to put on a little bit of a juggling performance for us all here at Number 1 Sports Ground. And a really important wicket. Josh Geary on his way, 2 for 42. The run rate slowed, the pressure was on, the noose was tightening, and now it gets really tough here for the Lions.
Yeah, beautiful catch in the end for Matt Edwards. He made himself a very firmly balanced landing to try and give himself the best possible opportunity. He's got it on the second or third grab. But as you said, it had snow on it. It was a long way up.
I remember a kid I used to play with in about under 12s, I think. And he used to bowl, and our coach said, mate, that delivery came down with snow on it. He was a medium pacer. He used to come in, and literally the ball would just go straight up in the air like that and land about a metre in front of the batsman. It was I didn't understand how it was possible. How can you bowl a ball that goes that far up in the air? And that's where that one came from. Really good start. And through the covers, and immediately Matt Willett strikes. We said he's their leading wicket taker across the 2 days this year. 3 wickets in the Tom Locker Cup. Didn't pick up any in the first T20 match, but immediately into the action here. This one just nudged away. Spin and throw. John O'Dunn got through.
Here we go, our Vanuatu international cricketing friend.
Got the long sleeves on. I know it's a cool afternoon. Maybe he's used to living in Vanuatu.
Well, it's a Pacific nation. I don't know how cold it gets out there.
And he's going to have to go here a little bit because they're still just under 100 runs to win, and they're almost at the halfway mark of the innings. It's not quite panic stations, but it's nearing pushing the button.
Watkins, yes. Watkins, he's been very direct with where he's wanted his field placings today. Oh, that's going to be a chance.
There's hit. Another direct hit for Cardiff. They are on fire in the field this afternoon. And another one goes for Merewether, and they are under real pressure now. 3 for 43.
Jay Snedden, take a bow.
What about the arm? And John O'Dunn, as quickly as he headed out there, he's on his way back to the pavilion. And we've praised his fielding, haven't we, this afternoon? Quickly to the ball, great release. Have a look at the reaction. Doesn't he love that? And he doesn't love it at all. That's a batsman's worst nightmare.
He just fields with such intent, Jay Snedden. Gives himself every opportunity, whether it be a run out or a catch or stopping a 2, or 1 becoming a 2 or a 2 becoming a 3. Just gives himself every opportunity, which is what you love to see.
Well, here's the other angle. Now, John O'Dunn, he was a mile out here. He wouldn't even be in the picture, I don't think.
Oh,
Bang.
Not even. Didn't even have his bat ready to slide. Mick Eccleston, the new batsman.
Their leading run scorer in the Tom Locker Cup this season with 121 runs. Got a bit of work to do here. And no runs there. He's got the golden arm at the moment, hasn't he? Matt Willett comes on, picks up a wicket, and then
creates the run out chance.
Run out. And that's all just from the pressure here. Cardiff are like a boa constrictor at the moment. It's getting to the point now where Merewether really are going to have to go here or look for 3 and 4 twos and over. Really push the running between wickets.
Yeah, going to make themselves difficult for them later. If they can't get a move on soon, you don't want to leave it needing 15 and over from the last 2.
And Simon Moore and Josh Geary They both failed in the first match, 5 for Moore, 2 for Geary, and it was Zach McGuigan who made 40 with the bat, who rescued them, got them to 6 for 137. Eccleston made 10. Pat Houlihan still to come. He made 28 in that particular match. So
Shannon Bills now.
still a lot of batting to come, as you mentioned. Shannon Bills. 2 wickets for him in the 2 days this season. Sorry, I got the hiccups. And just the 1 in the Tom Locker Cup. Right up in the block hole and well trapped.
Been telling too many funny jokes up here, Ben. Bills bowling just that medium pace. Hard pace to get away. Got to make most of it yourself. Batsman. Beautiful start here. Just complimenting Willett with the pressure at the moment. Plenty of dot balls in the last couple of overs. Probably get 2 here. They look to push for a third. Eccleston looks happy to take the 2. Chris, what's the thoughts down the sideline?
Well, I think the Merewether boys seem pretty confident still, as we've touched on. They've got a little bit of batting to come, obviously, but they're acutely aware that that run rate required is creeping up to 9.
Okay. Have we seen any changes in the batting order at all at this stage?
No, it looks sort of as per you'd expect. We look like we've got Pat Houlihan and maybe Chad Mayo padded up to go out next. So, yeah, keeping the usual suspects, the Colberts and O'Neills and Callinans down towards the end of their order.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris.
And we've got to credit this bowling from Cardiff Boolaroo, because they've been right on the spot from the word go.
Yeah, you're right.
From the very first over.
Yeah, you're right. They were just so good. Dan Carter beginning, the 2 off the first over from Aaron Bills. Just everyone's sort of played their part, and it's what's given them this start here, where Merewether are going to have to go at 9 and over for the last 10, which is no easy task.
Does Mick Eccleston think about, well, maybe my point is going to be totally made moot here by the change in the field. I was going to say, does he try and really prod one into the offside that moved men out there? And he does just that. But they really need to be getting more than just singles.
Yeah, well, a singular ball here won't win it for him. I've noticed today Nick Watkins, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, he's been so particular with his field placements. He's taken, a couple of times he's taken 30 seconds between each ball just to make sure the men were in the right positions, and I think it's helped them throughout this innings where fielders have been in the right spots. We talk about the run-outs from Aaron Bills and from Jay Snedden, but also the fact that so many potential 2s have been cut off.
Just quickly before we get this over, guys, I'm joined by the one and only Josh Callanan down here. How are you, Josh?
Afternoon. Yeah, going well, going well.
How are we thinking we're tracking? Obviously needing, north of 90 off the last 10 overs. Still pretty confident?
Yeah, a little bit of work to do, but hopefully the boys can, tick along here. It's a good shot from Echo. But, good bit of fielding there from the Cardiff boys. 2 direct hits. Always put you on the front foot.
Certainly does. We're going to see any cameo pinch hitting from yourself or Harry Colbert?
Well, only if required. A few of the boys are still in here, so if we've got to grace the middle, we'll be doing our best, us and Has, but hopefully these boys can stay at the middle for a while.
Lovely,
Chris,
mate. Thanks for your time.
Chris, just before he goes, can you ask Cal if he's managed to file his yarns before heading to cricket?
The boys are just want to know upstairs whether or not you've already filed the yarns.
Not yet. Result pending.
Just before he does go, I've got another question, Chris. What happens if he comes out and hits the winning runs? Or I should say, what happens when he hits the winning runs? What does he do with the yarn? Does he write about how he was the match winner?
The boys want to know, obviously, what will happen if you hit the winning, when you hit the winning runs. How's that headline going to read, and how's the yarn going to go?
Oh, hold the press back page, undoubtedly.
I would have thought at least a 4-page spread.
Yeah, comfortably. Yeah, it'll be sold out tomorrow, I'm sure, the Herald, if that happened.
Lovely, thanks, mate.
Nice, thanks, boys.
Cheers, Josh, and cheers to Chris as well. Newcastle Herald sports reporter does a superb job. Maitland product as well.
Yeah.
Wrote for the Mercury. Now he's writing for the Newcastle Herald. And he works for the ABC as well.
Does the occasional producing for us, Ben?
Yep. Saturday breakfast with Craig Hamilton. That'll be back on again in a couple of weeks' time. Hamo's back.
He's back.
Back from his overseas adventure.
It was his first day back today.
Actually, we might have some funny stories about that. As right up in the block hole again from Willett. He just hasn't missed his mark, and Cardiff bowlers went right on the spot. Yeah, so Craig Hamilton, as you said, one of the characters, former Newcastle cricketer himself, terrific cricketer as well, rep cricketer.
Incredible.
Maybe after this delivery you can tell us what happened on his first day back, because there would have been something entertaining, I'm sure. Never a dull moment with Hamo around. Willett. Oh, there's another French cut.
Eccleston. And McGuigan's going to come back for 3 here. This is great running. They've realised the desperation for runs. McGuigan's made the executive decision to push. Perhaps a little quicker than his batting partner. I'm sure Mick Eccleston won't mind me saying.
Can I just say, if I had $1 for every French cut today, I would be rich.
Beautiful shot there. Just behind the side screen, so I could not see Matt Duggan cut it off. Great shot there from McGuigan.
Come up to the last ball of this over, but there have been a few French cuts, jokes aside.
Yeah, saw a couple in Cardiff's innings, and now that one. Another beautiful shot. Richard Green. Oh,
gee whiz. It's like the ball's got a heat-seeking missile inside it, and it's just heading for the stumps every time. The fielding has been top-notch here. Here's Richard Green. Didn't miss by much. So 11 overs down, 3 for 60. Tell us about Craig Hamilton. What did he get up to today?
typical Craig Hamilton behaviour. I think he walked in and turned on his computer and deleted every single email that was sent to him over the Christmas period.
I think that's a fair way to start your first day back. That's normally what you do, isn't it? And I tell you what, I know everyone gets a lot of emails when they're on holidays, but in the media you get all these press releases.
Oh.
We're signed up to so many mailing lists that it would have been up near 1,000, more than 1,000, I would think. Start of a new over from Bills, and sliding in, more problems here for Merewether. Well, he almost gave himself up there. He pretty much did, Zach McGuigan. And all he had to do was hit, and probably the easiest attempt of them all has been missed by Matt Rogers, who batted so well this afternoon. That was probably the easiest run-out attempt of the lot.
He'd almost accepted his fate there, McGuigan. They've just upped the ante a little bit in the last couple of overs here since the 10th. Still up around 9 and over, but they are showing a fair bit of intent now. Guessing the conversations mid-pitch, perhaps discussing they need to get a wriggle on.
Terrific delivery.
Not much you can do with that. And at this stage, Cardiff are happy for them to have a single. If it's not giving away boundaries, a single is fine.
And the word around the ground was that Cardiff were going to find it difficult with their two best batsmen out of the side. And Merewether came into this one as favourites. And Cardiff have just done everything right.
Well, yeah, that's right. And I mean, they've had the best of the conditions. They've got to bat first, but you still got to make use of when you bat first. We saw last week Newcastle City batting first and didn't make use of the conditions. So you can get.
Well, Newcastle City resembled a sandcastle under pressure from high surf.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
And they just collapsed in a heap. And simple as it, if you're making less than 100, you're not going to win many cricket matches, whatever the format.
Surprising, because heading into the two-dayer on Saturday, they almost reversed the outright result against Stockton.
Maybe just got... Yeah, I can't explain that, because they really got smacked on Thursday. And then they went and almost reverse outright at Stockton.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Strange set of circumstances. Incredible form turnaround. They would have been dirty to not get that outright result, having Stockton 8 for 35. Would have been some panic set in the Seagulls camp, I would have imagined.
So Matt Willett continuing here. And if you double the Lions' score, which is the calculation after 12 overs, that gets them to 130, which is still 11 off the mark. So it's going to have to be a big pickup here, and this man's going to have to be at the heart of it, Zach McGuigan.
It's 9.5.
They're pushing.
9.5 required and over at the moment. Essentially needing 10 to stay above, your head above water, and it's a hard task to do.
And they have to attack this short boundary, and you can see they are plastering men all over the offside here, where Eccleston could potentially target. There is no one in between long off and cover, though. Could be an opening for him if he's good enough, but it'll just be another single. Well, if they pulled this off, it would be miraculous. Merewether probably go down as one of the great victories. 3 wickets down, run rate of up near 10 and over. With the fading light as well. Will it? McGuigan swings it away. He's hit it too powerfully in the end.
What do you think?
I did notice when they had their meeting in between overs, they were very focused on the scoreboard being updated, so they're very aware of the pressure and they'll know exactly what the equation is in front of them. And really looking at this over, it looks like they're starting to accelerate or attempting to.
They haven't got a scoreboard up there at the moment, Chris. Are they feeding them information?
No, the scoreboard's on the front of the grandstand down here. Got the skipper Simon Moore updating it over by over.
Very good. Can you find out for us, Chris, the update of the Sea Dragons and Tigers?
It's not looking good. I know they were 5 down at last look.
Great insight there, Chris, as well, just to how much Merewether are focused on getting that scoreboard updated, making sure the batsmen know exactly how many runs they've got to chase. Because it's happens often enough in district cricket that the scoreboard just gets left stagnant for a few overs.
By the wayside, and then all of a sudden you're panicked because you're not quite sure where you're at.
So over at Passmore, the Sea Dragons 5 for 78 off 14, needing 64. So that's about 10.6 and over.
Wowee. That's a decent upset if the Tigers can get the job done.
And the Sea Dragons lost in a super over, and Eccleston couldn't get a piece of that. 13 down, 3 for 70, still requiring 71 runs for victory.
Having made that one-day final earlier in the year against the Hamwicks or the Pumas, the Sea Dragons were probably one of the favourites coming into this tournament, so to be 0 from 2 will be huge.
And it just shows you T20 cricket, doesn't it? So, you just can't go off the form guide based on the 2 days and the one-day competition. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, it could be one of the big guns gone from the competition early. 0-2 is a hard place to come back from.
Yeah, 5 matches, 0-2, I think that's pretty much curtains.
With only 2 teams going through to the semi-finals, I think historically it's certainly been the case. Once you drop 2 games, you're really pushing the proverbial to get into the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why it's so important for Cardiff to win this afternoon. And McGuigan dinks it up and over the top. Only one though.
The other 2 of the teams that have, of the 3 teams who have only won this competition, one of them is playing today, Merewether. Their chance to go 2-0 or 1-1. Hanwicks, of course, had that massive victory over Newcastle City on Thursday.
And Cardiff 3 straight defeats coming into this one. And they've turned their form around up to this point, but Eccleston has slid that one in behind, just backward of point nicely. He'll get back for 3. That's what the doctor ordered for the Lions. And perfect conditions again. We've had perfect conditions for each day of this Newcastle City Council Summer Bash. Couldn't have asked for a better afternoon, really.
Yeah,
Wow.
sun's setting just behind us.
And McGuigan off the edge. And is it quick enough to reach the boundary? It isn't. Couple of bounces and getting around quickly was Matt Edwards.
Been very good in the field today, Matt Edwards.
It's just over the head there of Jay Snedden, who inflicted the run out just inside the line. Edwards, I thought his toes were just inside. I know you've got blue eyes, Josh.
They were well inside.
Meters. McGuigan just backing away. And Snedden, he's a ball of energy in the field.
Yeah, he's certainly given them a lot today, Cardiff. Energy's been up. Hasn't had a bowl yet. I wonder if he's due for an over. Do seem to have a lot of bowlers in this side, Cardiff.
Just a couple from the slow bowler, Aaron Bills, the leggy. Apart from that, it's been the quicker man. This off the edge and pouched.
Matt Willett there at gully, making no mistake.
And they had to up the scoring rate. And Eccleston on his way. Could he have gone at that a little bit harder? That's much easier playing up here.
Yeah, he's just got the upper edge of the bat. He'd be disappointed there, Nick Eccleston.
4 for 77. Just over 6 overs left now.
Patrick Houlihan.
Batted really well in the first match. Made 28 off 24 balls. And also Chad Mayo on his way. Coming in probably next. Made 27 in the first match. So Houlihan has got to go. Took that terrific catch.
Chris, I just saw something just then, mate. Can you confirm one of the Merewether players is doing a crossword?
Don't know where we spotted this. I'll have a bit of a look. I can't see anyone here.
Maybe.
Oh, Hilliard to Houlihan. That is plum. It's all going the Black Rose's way. Houlihan looks a little unimpressed. Maybe he thought he got a bit of bat on it. He looks at the toe of his blade. And it's a golden duck for the Merewether wicketkeeper. And it's all falling apart for them at the moment.
Big job ahead for him now.
It will be tough to see from this angle as we see Chad Mayo come out to the crease.
He does not look happy. Oh.
Was there any bat in that, or did he hit the ground? Because sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah, you can think you've Yeah, you can think you've hit it and you've just gone down on the ground.
You certainly look very unimpressed storming into the change rooms. There might be some furniture rearrangement going on inside.
Chase him down for an interview.
I might need a hard hat for that one.
Here we go. This could be the angle. To be honest, as we know, it is hard to tell. If anything, there would be an inside edge, but it looks as though it's hit his boot.
Well, that leaves Nathan Hillier on a hat-trick for next over, should he get a bowl.
Surely he's got to. As we see Aaron Bills come back into the attack.
The lights have been switched on. It's the first time the lights have started to take effect.
And there's another one. Well, it's a hat-trick. It's a team hat-trick. Terrific delivery from Aaron Bills. And Zach McGuigan now on his way. 6 wickets down, and the number 6 has got to go.
Yeah, that's just what pressure builds, isn't it? He knew he had to be the man, and with virtually 11 and over required, had to make do. And unfortunately,
I was just going to say, Chris, I hope Pat Houlihan's still not swinging his bat around as Zach McGuigan walks in.
Yeah, I think Zach looks like he's leaving his helmet on maybe for that reason alone.
So we've got Merewether's top individual scorer from the season so far, Tim O'Neill, walking at the bat.
Well, don't write him off. He batted well in the first match, made 18 not out of 13 balls. So if there's any man that can do it, Tim's the man.
He's certainly been around enough to know what's required.
Bowled well this afternoon.
Quick update from over at Passmore, and we have Sea Dragons 6 for 93, needing 12.5 and over off the last 4.
Tough assignment for them.
So this is, well, he's looking for the team double hat-trick. Couldn't quite achieve it. Looking forward to seeing how Hillier goes on a hat-trick. Want a crowd catch.
Really putting the pressure.
It's tough as a batsman at this time because you want to get yourself in, but you've got to go and hit out as well.
You can just see in our graphic, every ball that's a dot goes up almost 0.2 of a run. It's nearly at 12 and over, 2 a ball, which is, as we know, so difficult.
And no sunlight on the field now.
This could be a maiden over.
A wicket maiden it would be.
They're so rare. Even a maiden's just so rare, let alone a wicket maiden. So
here we go. Gets through this delivery. And there it is. A wicket maiden from Aaron Bills. Rare as hen's teeth in 2020 cricket.
Take a bow, Aaron Bills. Well played.
And
just
now
on Aaron Bills, guys, just having a look through some of the Maitland statistics from last year from the T20. In his pool games last year, he bowled 10 overs and took 8 for 35.
Very, very handy.
Wouldn't mind those figures, would you? Wouldn't mind those at all as we see the man on a hat-trick. Here we go. Nathan Hillier. He's going to bowl to Chad Mayo.
Not sure when the last T20 hat-trick in the Newcastle comp was.
Here we go. Hillier on a hat-trick, and Mayo dealt with it well. Decent delivery. No runs off it, but
that's now in excess of 10 balls without any runs being scored. Incredible.
Just joined by Zach McGuigan down here, guys. Zach, you looked a little bit disappointed when you came off.
Yeah, I didn't have the best innings, but they bowled really tight, really well. Bowled to their field, and yeah, they're playing well.
Walked through the covers by Chad Mayo. And they've got a push here for the third. It's going to be tight, and there is another one. Tim O'Neill, the latest victim. 7 wickets down for Merewether. And Cardiff are steaming towards a comprehensive victory in round 2 of the Newcastle City Council Summer Bash. And as we just heard from Zach, we'll head back down to Chris, but Josh, he was full of praise for this Cardiff bowling performance. They've been outstanding. They've won this game off their own bat, not off Merewether's mistakes. They have been absolutely brilliant this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. And it's been the balls that they haven't taken wickets off, where they've built the pressure, the dot balls, and then when the run rates got over a run and over, that's when they've really started to knuckle down. Chris?
Another wicket there, obviously not ideal.
Yeah, it's not helping to it, but yeah.
Still got any confidence that you can come home from here? Looks like we've got Josh Callanan out there now. How's he going to go clearing the fence?
Yeah, he could do. He's a good batsman. But yeah, I got faith in these two scoring some runs, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Not enough time, I don't think.
As you said, a great bowling and fielding effort by Cardiff. A few run-outs really been crucial as well.
Yeah, absolutely superb. I think two or three direct hits and a couple of other run-outs. So yeah, superb.
No worries at all. Well, obviously, even one loss here still keeps you well and truly in the finals race, so you just be looking forward to next week if this one falls.
Yeah, just keep playing hard and win big, so yeah.
Awesome, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Zach, and cheers, Chris. And here he is, the man from the Newcastle Herald, Josh Callanan. We talked about how he was going to hit the winning runs. It might be a long stretch. And he's got a nick on that one, has he? Or has he hit the deck? He's hit the ground. Gee, they went up. It sounded...
Or he may have nicked it and not walked.
Gee whiz, it sounded woody.
Ooh.
Just got an umpire that doesn't want to write up in the paper, maybe.
Good decision. If in doubt, give Josh Callanan not out. Is that the umpire's rule? Terrible decision. Front page of the Newcastle Herald. Maybe not quite. He's Hillier. Well played by Josh Callanan. Just in front of point.
Into the gap.
That's the way to do it.
It's getting increasingly difficult.
What do you do here? Do you just swing for the hills, or do you just try and play out the 4 overs just to try and make sure you lose by as least as possible?
I think there's no point going out and just throwing your wicket away aimlessly, but also you've got to try and get as close to the target as possible. Because, as you say, it can be the case of you missing or losing a place in the finals because of the fact that your quotient or your run rate was just not quite up to scratch.
What would you do in this situation, Chris? Would you try and just nurdle a few 1s and 2s around just to get you up near the 100 so your run rate or your net run rate's better off, or what would you do in this situation?
I certainly think your percentage is going to be key here. I was just having a look back in regards to talking of teams losing 2 games. Charlestown made it through last year, but that was only due to that massive percentage boost they got from the win we talked about last week, which was where they bowled Stockton out for 46 and chased it down in about 6 overs. So obviously percentage is key here, so you wouldn't want to have a crumble trying to swing for the fence. Just stick to your game, try and get sort of 5 or 6 and over, and as you say, post that sort of 100, 110.
Well, Josh Callanan, he has hit that one nicely. Not nicely enough, though. Well, they haven't taken that advice. They have swung for the hills. And pouched out there by Daniel Carter, who was so superb with the ball this afternoon. Took that one pretty easily in the end at mid-wicket.
Another wicket for Aaron Bills. Showing how important a good slow bowler is in this competition. He's been outstanding for them today.
And Josh Callanan could probably count himself unlucky, because if we're playing from the middle pitch, that one is over the rope. He had the longer boundary to aim at. Bit unfortunate. And he'll head for the sheds. So 2 wickets now.
Here's our man.
Do they want an early mark, or do they want to bat out these last 4 overs? I can tell you a funny story. I was playing about under 14s or something, and we were 9 for 80, chasing 140 with 10 overs left. And we made it to the last tee after this delivery. Well worked away by Chad Mayo, and this will be the one. Yeah, it was about under 14s. We were in all sorts, 9 for 80, and my coach just said, just make them work for it. The last 10 overs, I made 0 or 40 balls.
40?
Yeah, about that.
Jesus.
Blocked out about 40 balls and didn't make a run at all. And I copped it from my teammates. I think they wanted to go home early as well.
Should have got out last ball, make it the longest duck of all time. Here's our man, Harry Colbert.
I just want to know his bowling figures after this over. We'll give him a sneaky peek. Aaron Bills is being watertight.
Almost man of the match honours, really. After that early run out of...
What about his
Simon
form?
Moore.
52 on the weekend. So he made 52 on the way. I should say 45 on the weekend. His brother Shannon made 52 and he took 4 for 63. And now here again, backing it up. Feeling pretty confident. Feeling good about his cricket. There's a chance to really wrap it all up here. Some good bowling. Richard Green, look at him. Don't they love that? The Black Roses.
2 for 9 off 4 overs. That is outstanding. Add to his 30 with the bat. A very good day.
And don't forget that massive direct hit run out as well.
He's got to be... Well, he's got to...
Well,
he's a shoe-in.
It's a foregone conclusion.
Put the glasses down. Aaron Bills, man of the match.
Should have one of those text lines. Text Aaron Bills for man of the match to 1300, whatever.
If you do have a different opinion to us, just message us below on Facebook. Can you also let us know if you're watching from overseas? We had Joburg last week.
I wonder if Dave's still in Dubbo.
Yeah, Dave might be in Dubbo still watching.
Shannon Bills now.
It should be a wide. That's better from Colbert. Are we going Colbert or
Yeah,
Colbert?
definitely Colbert.
Oh, man.
It's Colbert until this becomes a thing in Newcastle District Cricket. Just like...
And actually, Steve Snedden is watching. Dad of Jay Snedden. And Zach Snedden, of course. We were talking about Zach earlier. Now, Steve, if you are listening, what were we saying about Jay? He's quicker than Zach, even though he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, that was the general consensus.
Write us a message as well, Steve. Big season ahead for the Bears. Looking forward to the NPL again this year.
Brothers might play together.
They might.
In the top grade.
And that one French cut by...
That's going to go.
Colbert, right to the boundary. Beautifully played. A French cut from the Frenchman. How good is that?
Send him a baguette.
Love it.
Colbert just adding to the French cut tally today. There's been plenty of them.
Oh, there's another one. It's his favourite shot.
Gets you the most runs. As we mentioned last week, it doesn't paint pictures in the scorebook.
Well, as I say, another French cut.
I wonder if his teammates are counting the fine tally. Jesus.
Shannon Bills right on the spot again. 2 wickets left. 14 balls to go in the innings. And he's pulled out. Not quite sure why.
Perhaps didn't feel it was right, so... Matthew Sport letting us know that the Oh, Colbert.
Oh, French cut for 4, and then if you don't mind, over square leg for a maximum.
This is brilliant stuff here from Colbert.
Well, he got lucky with the French cut, and he says, well, actually, I can hit it well. Bang. See you later.
Getting back to what I was...
He is just swinging
for the hills. Matthew Spohr just letting us know the NCRLRA refs are proud of you and that they are watching. I don't know what the NCRLRA stands for.
That'll be the Newcastle and Coalfields Rugby League Referees Association, probably referring to Nathan Hillier, who in the off-season doubles as a referee.
Excellent intel there, Chris. That's why you're the man on the sideline.
I'm just joined while we're here by Courtney Moulton. Courtney, what do you think the thoughts are from here? Obviously, 12th man today, but what are the thoughts of the boys out there? Are we going to be swinging for the fence, or is it more just about nursing that run rate, looking at the later games of the tournament?
Yeah, look, it's obviously a bit of a sticky situation we're in at the moment, but as long as the boys can go out there and show some positivity, that's pretty much what we're after. Just to finish on a good note, we've got Chatty Mayo coming up. He's trying to play for Reading, which is positive for him. He's had a bit of a sketchy season for us so far, but yeah, as long as we can push a couple of runs, get that score a little bit closer instead of being out for a lot cheaper, I guess we can take that as a win from today.
And we just saw the French import, Harry Colbert, clearing the pickets, mate.
There's another.
Have another crack at it.
Oh, look, he's a pitch hitter for sure. He's hit a few bombs for us. Obviously, that one didn't go our way. But, he always pulls for fun.
Looks like he's fallen victim to the commentator's curse. Thanks very much for your time.
Just ask Courtney before he goes. Just ask him how the leggies are coming out.
The boys upstairs are just asking how are the leggies coming out.
Oh, mate, I haven't really bowled for about 3 games, so they're probably as good as you would know.
So obviously missed today then.
Yeah, missed today, yeah, a bit unfortunate. I've got a cut finger, so got a few stitches in there, but hopefully I'll be back in a couple more games.
Lovely, mate. Thanks very much.
Beautiful, cheers.
And just while that interview was taking place, Harry Colbert, what a strike. Another one that came down with snow on it, and Nat Duggan perched himself under it and just took it beautifully. So last man is Sam Holding and Chad Mayo, who has struggled with the bat a bit this year, but in the T20, he's been good thus far. 27 last week against the Rosellas, got them to a sizable total or a defendable total, and now here he's wielding the axe pretty nicely. Oh, that one, mate. Was there an under edge? No. Nick Watkins, the skipper, going up a little early. Did stay a little low.
Very close to taking his middle peg as well. Matt Willett running through the overs, wanting to get this game over and done with as soon as possible.
And Mayo just chips it up and over cover. Not going to take the 2. But you look at this score line, if you have just joined us, Cardiff have just been too good. Simple as that.
Their bowling has been absolutely outstanding today, and
I've been most impressed by the bowling. Obviously the batting, they just... Down goes the knee, and dropped by Hillier. That would have been that. And the end of the 19th over, 9 for 97. And yeah, Cardiff, their batting was so composed as well. I know their bowling has probably outshone their batting in the end, but it was such a composed batting performance without their 2 top scorers this year. That is the one thing we have to stress. Without Sharma, without Bakshi, who engaged in a little bit of unsporting conduct last week, they've shone.
Yeah, well, to get themselves the pass score of sort of the 140 mark and then being able to come out here and defend it so well, they've really got to be proud of themselves. I'm sure their coach, Mark Curry, will be rapt to see this performance today.
And as well as the bowling, the fielding, Aaron Bills with the direct hit, and if you've missed Jay Snedden's fielding effort, from the boundary, smack into the stumps, and John O'Dunn was on his way. Those 2 wickets changed the match as well.
I have a feeling that Jay Snedden clip will be the one played as the match highlight.
Sam Holding showing why he is the number 11 there, straight off the pads.
We've had Pat Houlihan's catch and Benny Balcom's unfortunate mishap, but perhaps the next one will be Jay Snedden with a brilliant direct hit run out from virtually the boundary.
4 balls left.
Cardiff will want to bowl them out here. Just that added bit of contentment with bowling the side out.
And just a quick shout out to Ijaz Ahmad, who's messaging about playing cricket locally here in Newcastle. I hope Ijaz can find a club.
I hope Ijaz is legitimate.
Oh, I hope so too.
But if you're listening and you're watching Ijaz, this is a brilliant standard of cricket, and I'm sure plenty of clubs will be willing to have you.
A terrific place to play cricket, as you can see. Where else would you rather be? Summer afternoon, sun setting, the trees in the background. He drops that one in short, and Mayo swings it away to the onside.
I was really disappointed that Chad Mayo hasn't hit a 6 today, because I was ready to use the old phrase, he's put a bit of mayo on that one. That's not to be.
Final ball. And Holding a swing and a miss. And a comprehensive win from the Cardiff Boolaroo Black Roses. Full credit to them. Their batting was composed. Their bowling was right on the mark. Their fielding was absolutely fabulous this afternoon. 9 for 102, the Lions finish up, and it's a win for the Black Roses by 39 runs. Very valuable. They started slow against Wests, losing in round 1. They get the win in round 2. Merewether lose first time in the NCC Summer Bash this season. Josh Sim, your quick thoughts on that one?
Look, it was just a brilliant performance by the Cardiff batters to get themselves into a position to have the opportunity to let their bowlers do such great work. Their fielding was excellent. Nick Watkins can take a lot of credit for today's performance, especially with the field placements that he devised. Made sure that he was... Sorry, we've just got some feedback in the earphones here, which is troubling us. Yeah, Nick Watkins put plenty of good fielding placements out, which made the Lions work very hard for their runs, and in the end, Cardiff proving too strong.
Well, Chris, down on the boundary, we'll see if you can grab someone. Maybe Nick Watkins. See if you can grab Nick Watkins just to chat about this performance and how they did it with out their 2 main men with the bat. Terrific performance. And Chris is going to try and grab Nick. Here we go. He's
joined by Nick Watkins. Good win there, Nick.
Oh, it was a fantastic win against a quality side like Merewether, so it's nice to get the point today.
Obviously a big effort considering the absence of your 2 imports in Varun and Rahul. Obviously we expected probably to miss them with the bat, but probably underrated too their input normally with a bit of spare part-time bowling as well.
Yeah, that's right. I guess the other players had to step up, which they did fantastically well today. So, and I think we were playing as a unit today, so it was really good. I was very pleased with the team effort today, and the bowlers executed what I was after, executed the plan as I mentioned. So.
Yeah, obviously excellent in the field, and bowlers Aaron Bills and Nathan Hilly were probably 2 of the standouts.
Absolutely, they were the 2 standout, but as I mentioned earlier, I thought the bowlers did their job, the batters did their jobs, they batted in partnership, rotate the strike, especially on a field like Newcastle number 1, you've got to rotate the strike as much as possible. It's not about 4s and 6s on this ground, unfortunately, but I think we played very smart cricket today.
Obviously, the side hasn't probably been in the best form the last couple of weeks, so looking at capitalising on this and turning the corner for the back end of the season, both T20 and 2-day cricket.
What happened the last couple of weeks? I don't know what you're talking about. No, but yeah, absolutely. I think today was, as I mentioned earlier, I think we played as a team, and I think we had a little bit more belief in the last couple of weeks. So I think Yeah, as I mentioned, we played the team and we took our chances, all those 50-50 chances, those outstanding run-outs, so they changed the game. I think we did about three run-outs, so any side that can do 3 run-outs is 100% likely to win.
Lovely. Thanks very much for your time, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Nick. Josh Sim, clinical from Cardiff Boolaroo, and they'll take all of this confidence they got tonight into the coming weeks. It's great to see after a tough few weeks, as Chris mentioned, 3 straight defeats coming into this one and losing outright on the weekend to Hamwicks. They could have come here, they could have been battered and bruised and lacking that confidence. It was the total opposite.
Yeah, you're right. They really steeled themselves for a big performance and obviously put the demons of weeks gone by behind them and managed to pull out an admirable performance against a very strong Merewether side, and that'll give them confidence going into this weekend's 2-day fixture, but also for the T20s going ahead.
Well, thank you, Chris McPherson on the boundary, if you can still hear us. Thank you to you. You did a terrific job, as always, this afternoon. I think he's gone. Thanks to you, Josh Sim.
Thanks, Ben.
And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Paul Arundale should be back for the match tomorrow. Now, I will just make sure we know what match that is coming up tomorrow in the Newcastle City Council Summer Bash. And then on Thursday, Josh and I will be back with the call. Tomorrow it will be the Magpies up against the Pumas on Bar TV, the Sabres and the Kookaburras, that one at Harker Oval. Then on Thursday we've got the Rosellas from Wests taking on the Seagulls from Stockton here at number 1, and at Waratah Oval, the Waratahs taking on the Belmont Whips. That wraps it up this evening. The Black Roses with a huge victory over the Merewether Lions. Thanks for your company. We'll catch you next time.
G'day Pride TV, we're here at the Great Townsend Oval. After one video on Instagram, we now have a media platform in Bar TV. I'm Chad Mayer, the club captain, and I'm here with
Sam Holding.
Now Sam, after yesterday being classed as the finisher, do you think this nickname is good for you?
Oh, if people want to call me that, they can go ahead and do it, but, I've got a few nicknames, so I'm not fussy what I'm called.
Okay, we're going to go around the nets today and around the field and just have a couple of interviews with the players.
So we're here with club coach Troy Goodwin. Now, Goody, who would you say is the biggest pest in the club?
Tim O'Neill's the biggest pest by far. He always putting gear in funny places, and he's always putting bananas down people's pads, and just genuinely a pest.
We're here with current opening 4th grade bowler Zach Stanbridge, who's taken a couple of fivers this year. Zach, you been bowling well?
Yeah, I have actually.
How would you put this down to?
Oh, bowling on the stumps. They can't really play a shot, so it's pretty easy to get some wickets.
So Pat, understanding the car just before we got here, you thought you'd be a better host than both Chad and I. Is there any truth to that statement?
No.
So I just made that up just because I can.
Oh, you two are pretty bad. But I'm not better.
We're here with our current 2nd grade batsman in Scott Montgomery. Scott, you recently had a kid. Can this say they've changed your cricketing career?
Yeah, I'm available for 1st grade now with the commitments. Please change the nappies.
Some have called you the Filipino Bradman. Any truth to this statement?
Oh, I think Richard Cheekway would have something to say about that.
So Drew, who would you say has the most ordinary rig in the club?
Ooh, to be fair, I think I'm going to have to say yourself, mate. Big draft there. But it
I feel like we've got to cut that one.
In all seriousness, Goody, how do you think the club's state is going at the moment? Do you think we're in a good state with all the youngsters coming through? Or do you think we can improve?
I think we're in a very good state at the present. I think we're 2nd or 3rd in 1st grade, 4th in 2s, I think we're about 4th in 3s and 2nd or 3rd in 4s. So I think we're in a good state.
I would like to thank Bar TV for coming down today at Townsend Oval to watch us field and do absolute rubbish, to be honest. I'd like to thank our sponsors in South, the Prince, I don't know who else, Sam, turn around. Murray's Brewery, great beer, Phil Maher Bookmaking, cricket, standard, and there's many more other sponsors.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
So we're here with club captain Troy Goodwin. Now,